and they have the chance to really upend the apple cart here. And I think, honestly, it's going to come down between them and Seven Reef team, and I can't wait for those two teams to match up.
Yeah, again, because they were actually playing originally, right?
I don't think they've played against each other yet. Now, have they? It's groups A and B. No, they have. They played on day one.
Yeah.
So they have played against each other.
Yeah.
But I do think they're going to be making it through the next round.
Yeah, I think the next one's going to be an interesting one. But just a sort of last comment on that before we dive into this action. TRD, even after the first game on last Sunday, where they weren't even taking part, they were still at the top of the leaderboard, even though they hadn't played one of the games. There's one game less, it's still on top of the leaderboard, so they actually have an advantage in ability to collect as many points as possible. But let's jump into it. Talking about TRD.
They are facing off up against IK right now inside this complex. Let's see if they're able to get it done. We're also looking at a couple of other squads here. UN will be facing off against LND. This is onto the bottom right-hand side of the map. So early matches, early firefights, a little bit of looting going through, and it looks like some of these teams already managed to establish a decent bit off screen. We see Zero does get it down onto Borrow from IK. No surprises there, as the TRD team is just so strong. We're seeing in the picture how this fight's going down. It looks like they've gotten 2 knocks.
I mean, if I was to put my money, if I was a betting man, it would easily be on TRD here. IK have not been one of the top teams here, and they've been pretty easy for a couple of teams to kill. So I imagine we're just going to be seeing them wipe them there.
Yeah, one of our big teams to watch. I mean, there are other squads that we want to keep our eyes on between groups B and D. It is, Live to Kill, LTK. They're a pretty solid squad out of Group D. Arab Madness, we've seen do pretty well. I want to see where MBZ Falcons ended up dropping, because they were the team that basically spent the entire set of their matches basically rotating.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if they've actually taken away and learned from that process, and if they're going to be able to come into this a bit stronger. And I mean, AM, I would have to say they're pretty much like the Kryptonite to TRD. They've done very well against them on Erangel, and we've obviously got 2 of those maps today. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
That's a good point. Yeah, we have 2 Erangel maps, but after the Sanhok, we'll have 1 more Vikendi, so no Miramar this week in any of our matches. So we're moving away from it. But into this firefight, we see Headhunters. This is the Beb. He's going to be able to start getting it down on with the rest of his teammates onto the JS members. Headhunters is the only team representing Bahrain in the tournament, too. Always nice to see, a smaller country in terms of representation here at this tournament do a little bit better.
Yeah, and they've actually done pretty well in regards to sort of getting some frags and some positions as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they sort of perform in this fight in Paradise.
TRD still locked in this fight up against IK. They've gotten themselves another down here, but we're watching the LND and UN matchup is a little bit more passive. It's just quiet. Both teams kind of trading positions, and there's a little bit of fire, but not a lot traded. LND do seem to be getting the better of it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest issues for these both these teams are, and they play very similar, and that's very passive and also grouping up way too much. If they separated out and got better positions, then we would see a lot more damage and kills.
No, that's true. Boomer's going to get himself a first aid kit, heal up, while the rest of LND trying to rotate around. Faker at the front, Riot right behind him. Taking some fire.
I mean, what was quite obvious in that situation, if they had left someone down behind to cover them as they did that rotation, it would have been a lot better. But nonetheless, they didn't, and now they're going to have to suffer the consequences. They're still just grouped up. A single grenade could take out a couple of them at once.
Yeah.
Let's see what UN do in this situation.
One of the more active early games that we've seen. I mean, Sanhok is one of our smaller maps here in PUBG and PUBG Mobile specifically, but also a little bit surprising that we see this happening as Riot does get downed. That's Master that manages to knock him.
Yeah, and Hunter's going in for a nice rotation here. He should be able to get a good shot on LND here.
Yeah, they don't know he's here. Rotate around. Maybe they do. Faker, he gets in the wrong position. Sprayed down, but Hunter gets knocked as well. It's a trade back and forth between these 2 squads. And Hunter's out of there. That's the elimination.
Yeah.
This is rough. You start in this early on. You take these early firefights, and if you lose out big, all of a sudden you miss out on a huge amount of points. We hadn't covered it, but there's so many points for placement in this as the fight continues. Zeus going in, spraying down the remaining members of L&D, and they will be eliminated in 12th place.
Wow, that's going to be pretty painful for them. And that was already well played by UN. They did end up being able to close it out with a bit more of a sort of tactical preference there on their side. They pushed in when they had the advantage. They knew that they downed someone. Very unlikely that that guy was up. So they managed to push in. 3 versus 2 situation was in their favor. Down another one, and the rest is history.
Yeah, now UN, that's probably one of the better fights we've seen out of them that showed up to play in previous weeks, but we just haven't seen quite as much. Looking at where they're actually currently sitting in the standings, still trying to take a look. It's not too bad right now, as they are sitting in the 19th place before the start of this match, so they're already ahead of some of their A and B counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, even then, they've only got, 8 kills in total, which is very low.
Well, certainly added a lot more of that.
Yeah, I mean, the team below them has 18 kills, and that is actually L&D. The guys they just killed, they've got less than half the kills before this game. But they're going to be able to catch up now.
Speaking of a team that doesn't have a whole lot of kills, we are watching Light Pirates, or LPI, and they're doing surprisingly well positionally, considering the fact that this is a team that just does not seem to know how to take fights, doesn't seem to want to take fights. They're always going and ceding ground, running away, and they actually drop so far away from the circle that they're trying to outrun the blue right now, as we see on the minimap where everybody is, and the next circle will focus a little bit closer in onto Query, and that means most of the teams are going to be making a run for it.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately for LP, they're going to have to cross this water, and it's not really going to be in their favor. They're going to have to face up against TRD.
Yeah,
and
that's
IK.
rough.
Yeah, I mean, IK should be fairly easy. I think he's just stuck in the water. I'm not even quite sure what he's
I think
doing.
that's just Kawan left.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain they managed to wipe the rest of them. They took full dominance of the areas like boot camp. So it's good.
Just gotta be careful. LPI could see him to be like shooting fish in a barrel.
I think they're going to have to cross over fairly soon, so they're going to be potentially fishing a barrel for him if he gets on the other side and spots them, which would be really nice for him.
Yeah, here's LTK, one of the other teams we wanted to keep our eyes on, leaders in Group B. Looks like Slam's going to be at the front. And LPI, here they are, trying to cross over. Once more, keep a little bit ahead of the blue. But they aren't running into anybody just yet, so at least they want to worry about that until they get to boot camp, and then they could be in for a very rude awakening.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope they don't actually... Oh, they have crossed the water, from what I'm saying? Yeah, they have. Okay. So, I mean, that's fairly decent for them. They have to be careful. They haven't got too many kills, like you sort of mentioned. They've only got 7, but they have got 64 placement points, and that's really how they're
They just know how to hide. I mean, that's the thing about LPI is they always manage to last it out long, despite the fact that they lose in just about every firefight they're involved in. So, they're going to be hoping they don't run into a strong team like TRD or even LTK here, as it looks like JS is going to be creeping up on them.
Yeah, they have to be careful. They are having to use a lot of their meds here, and they're still going to have to push into the circle a little bit more, as they're not quite in there yet. So we're switching back on over towards Paradise here. Resort for Headhunters. It seems like they haven't actually really managed to achieve too much here in regards to they actually let LTK get away, from what I'm saying. And, oh, look at that. Big surprise. MBZ being playing passive.
Of course. And it seems like they tend to adopt a strategy of, okay, we're going to play passively, but also be ready to fight in the second to final circle or the final circle itself. So they aren't shy of getting into it at the end, and that's the big difference between them and LPI, in my opinion.
Yeah, look at this. This is RBK. We've not actually seen them since the first day, and I had big hopes for them, but they kind of fell short. So it'll be interesting to see if they do actually bring it back this game and they're able to get a couple of kills. Maybe they went home, did their homework, played a lot of practice games.
Yeah, they had a light week for sure. This time they'll be playing in 2 out of the 3 days, and let's see. Looks like, Headhunters gets one member down. So JS kind of chasing them across the map. That's Mr. Relax. He's come up pretty big for the Headhunters in the past, so if they lose him out early, that could be rough.
Yeah, it's not someone you want to see go down for them this early on. And I mean, JS are actually spreading out very nicely here, so they can try and encompass Headhunters, and there you go, Mr. Black does go down.
CLM, 40th member dies, so JS still taking a couple more pot shots away from the blue.
Yeah, it's just trying to shoot in those bushes, and let's have a look at that kill, because I don't think we saw it first of all, so we are going to be seeing that down.
That was a good clip.
Yeah, that was a good clip. Well played, spectators. Love you guys.
It's always nice to be able to get the replays and back to Rip as well. Meanwhile, we'll cut up over to this other fight here, or at least this other holdout, because RBK have managed to find themselves stationed up over here by these huts. And you can see that it looks like AM are going to be facing them down on the other side. Now, AM is one of those teams we definitely wanted to keep our eyes on because they really impressed us by the fact that they managed to fight and even managed to win against the likes of TRD in a couple of instances. And that was on Erangel. Yeah. So curious to see what they look like on Sanhok. They've yet to test their mettle on this map.
Yeah, they've got lots to sort of prove, to be honest. I mean, they had a few interesting results, but their sort of average performance versus that of like TRD and the others wasn't really that impressive. First game was fairly good, and
there's IK. Gonna lose. So, I mean, at that point, when it's a 4v1, we've been talking about how LPI aren't maybe the best team fighting team, but your odds are pretty impressive in that situation. So they do manage to get the elimination and knock out IK in 11th place. So down to 10 teams here.
Yeah, and JS are just trying to scout the edges here before sort of pushing in, so they're not going to get backstabbed by Headhunters, who they have been enthralled with for a while.
Well, we're going to see where the next circle ends up getting placed. So far, it's been pretty favored on the land, considering how much water is actually on Sanhok. And this one is going to be right in the dead center, so TRD finding their way to Quarry first before anyone else is going to favor them heavily. Wouldn't be surprised to see a TRD chicken dinner in this match. Not the way they're playing. Oh, D Savage going to unload here into the huts, but JS are a little bit out of the action.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to be getting ticked down here in the blue, so it's very difficult for him and the rest of the Headhunters. Steph's going for a hard rotation unless they manage to get a couple of grenades in.
He's down. Dr. Savage. Knocked there, and they've already lost Mr. Relax. This is a little bit rough for Headhunters right now. Only 2 healthy members. They're still in the blue. Julius going to get knocked down as well, and it looks like this could be lights out. LTK playing by their name, live to kill.
Yeah, I mean, LTK have definitely been playing pretty well this game. They've been shutting out from Headhunters. They actually backed away from the original fight.
I think
now
the
they're
Bab's
just
in trouble.
holding them out.
He's
Yeah.
just bleeding out in the blue right now. This is rough. He's going to have to make a run for it, but the problem is LTK know exactly where he is. The only thing that can really save him here is if JS kind of creep up on the opposite side, and it looks like that's who's preoccupied right now. Red Bull is taking some damage because he's sitting in the blue himself.
Yeah, but they are right next to another team here, so I think they will actually be getting engaged by JS. I think that's where the real damage came in onto Red Bull. So if the Bab can wait out this blue, it could be useful.
Certainly could.
Oh, he is actually going to go for the run here.
Yeah, trying to get Dr. Savage back up.
Nah,
He's already dead, though, unfortunately. So he can just take cover behind that and maybe loot a little bit off of his former teammate. Grabs a little bit when he can. And let's see if maybe the Bab can make something out of this because he's going to have to move quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to take this first aid kit, and he just needs to run. Maybe pop a boost as well, but unfortunately, I think he's just going to cross the line of sight for JS or LTK here, but Red Bull goes down.
Yeah, the blue's getting far away. Maybe the hope is here that LTK are going to be a little bit too preoccupied with JS to really deal with him, but he's trying to run the long way around to get into the clear of the blue. Back to the safety.
Yeah, and he really needs to try and get into that sort of top 8 position. I mean, the point difference there is
pretty massive.
Quite massive there. So it would be good for him to be able to get that, and it does look like LTK are going to be getting slaughtered by JS, who have knocked down 2 of those members, and now it seems like the Bat might get a free pass around the edge, but it depends on how many hills he's got.
How'd that be for irony? JS knock LTK out, and he manages to live instead. That would feel pretty good for placement. And as you were pointing out, yes, 8th place is pretty big because you will get 8 points for that. 7th gets 10, that's the first double digits, and it goes all the way up to 30 for the first place finish. So considering kills are only worth a single point, it is so much more valuable to get the placement rather than get the kills. Looks like JS are going for a run as well. So meanwhile, we'll check back in. This is MBZ Falcons and RBK. Arab Madness are a little bit to the outside here, but nobody's moving. Not too fast anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, MBZ, I mean, they are a team that we know for being rotators and just sort of slow players, and they don't really tend to do too much. There's no real excitement from them, and look at this, bam, he's actually made it in, mate.
Yeah, he has. He's got to keep running, though, because the circle's definitely going to keep shrinking as it goes, but he's found himself out in the open, out in the clear. Nobody else is taking the fight, so if he can't get into 8th or 7th place, he can sneak a few extra points for the team. Still a chance to clutch. We've seen some impressive performances out of one-man armies before.
Yeah, and I mean, RBK up to old tricks here. We saw in Vikendi in the first day that they actually got a decent position, and thanks to them holstering up inside the circle, inside a building. Yeah. Just kind of an RNG, so it's interesting to see that it is starting to happen again, but that could also be down to some skills, we'll see.
Oh, RBK are sniffing around to see if they can find anyone. The issue is nobody's moving here because nobody has to. AM have found themselves a nice little complex to hide out in as well, and we'll see where the next circle ends up placing us. Just about everybody's inside of it. LTK are going to have to make a run as well, and there's the next one, and it's going to be centered just to the right of Quarry.
Oh, I'm getting pretty good with these predictions, I have to say, but, you know, on Quarry, I'll take a pat on the back there. What's quite interesting about this one, though, there is actually 2 packages, and I think both of them are looted, or maybe at least one of them is looted here. So I wonder who actually got that loot in the first place. And
there's the Olymp. The BAP gets dropped down. LP's homicided. So LPI are actually kind of managing to just trim the herd a little bit here. They're always finding 1 or 2 members remaining and polishing them off, which is good for LPI because it helps their placement as well as the additional kills. So we see Headhunters knocked out in 10th.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just like a continual thing they do, then just sort of knocking down single-player teams, it just means that they get a higher placement each kill they do. So it's quite a cheeky thing to do, but there's actually going to be a bit of a firefight here, and it's going to be LTK taking on these guys once again.
A little bit of revenge.
Yeah, shooting JS in the back.
Yeah, Mehmet was looking for where he could find him. So they actually have 2 members that are hanging out still in that hut, and they'll have to go and rotate around to help Bates, and it looks like Mehmet's going to be there to try and get him back up. Question is, if he's going to be exposed while that happens, Evil might have sights on him.
Oh.
They're running for it.
This could be easy for them. They're not looking at them. They're right next to them.
Oh boy, but he's not peeking just yet. He doesn't know if Mehmet's going up for the heal. And Rip is actually going to join the team, so they need to make moves fast. Honestly, if they have a nade, it might be a good time to throw it, but looks like Evil's going to run away.
Yeah, I think that's probably the smart choice to do for the LTK guys if they just run away from this situation. It's not one that's best for them. And talking about not best for them, MBZ rather, looking to slaughter RBK.
Yeah, they've already got a couple of knocks, and it looks like an elimination to boot as well. So coming up a little bit better in these fights. MBZ Falcons, we've seen that they're definitely not bad at taking the fights. The issue is they can't always compete with at the highest level to some of the teams, and it looks like they are taking a couple of casualties as well. UT Boom does get knocked. Meanwhile, TRD is finding LPI, and that's going to be rough for the Light Pirates.
Yeah, and RBK going to be able to knock down 2 of the MBZ members, it seems, and then looking to try and finish them off as well. I think actually MBZ only have 1 member left alive, so RBK repositioning very well and looking to potentially actually take the win here.
Yeah, they're 2 knocks, and he's going to have to be really careful if he wants to try and clutch this one out. Having lost a member hurts, having 2 knocked and low health, especially in the blue. Oh, tries to go up on that scope. Doesn't quite find it. Finally will get the down. And it looks like that's the rest of RBK. He's going to have to make tracks, though, on MBZ's side to get his teammates up before they bleed out.
Yeah, and Evo and LTK is actually going to go down in this position, I think. I'm not sure where his teammate is. Maybe he died. No, he is still alive, so his teammate will be able to get them into a higher position. But MBZ, they're going to be able to pick up a couple of members, it seems. And look at this. He's managed to get that player on the last tick there. If he hadn't grabbed him there, it would have been interesting. But JS about to run into AM here.
Yeah, I don't know who this favors, actually, because JS have been fighting impressively so far. But AM, they have a pretty strong set of players themselves. We'll see if they'll be able to take it up here against the likes of 8s, Rip, SWAT, and Mehmet.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on their sort of utility use here.
Oh,
they chuck
is that a one-tap onto B52?
Oh.
Mehmet's going to take him out.
That's what you get for not wearing helmets and having slightly damage.
Can't afford to do that. Next circle's going to come in. It will center on the package and actually be completely out in the open. Not a whole lot of buildings left to choose from when it shrinks down, so this fight over Quarry is going to end pretty quickly here. JS are just going to make a run for it. Man, they're going up into melee range practically. 8s does get down, and finally will get finished off by Butcher. Here's Molotov coming in, avoiding the flames of a Molotov of his own.
He does manage to get out of here, but they're going to get pushed on by Rip and SWAT, and it's going to be a wipe.
That is amazing, actually. JS coming in and absolutely clutching it up against the likes of Arab Madness. We don't see that happen too often to that team.
Yeah, that was huge, that one tap on that player. That was perfectly timed. It allowed them to have that entrance into it. And let's go back on over towards TRD here. I think there is a package right next to them, but they haven't seen it. So I don't think they're going to be able to pick it up. And look how close this LTK player is. He's the last one on his team. Secured at least a minimum of 7th place for his team. Yeah,
that was rough for LTK that they got wiped out, nearly wiped out so early, so he's going to try to make for play for it, but it looks like TRD, they don't see that Modrum's got him in sights right now. He's going to wait for Hackshot, doesn't actually take the shot, not confident that he can take it. One member of LPI still remaining too, but he's going to run smack dab into the TRD members shortly. And you can see SWAT 69, they've had a pretty quiet map, but that should be changing pretty quickly. Anytime TRD are in the area, you got to think that there's going to be some blood.
Yeah, and I mean, taking that shot would have been a huge mistake for the LTK player there, because it would have just made them turn around and pretty much slaughter him.
Yeah, when the blue is right up against your back, you can't afford to do it. And speaking of up against the back, he's not the only one running here. We saw the LPI member, but Modrum has been spotted. That's unfortunate.
That is not going to be good for his health.
There's Hackshot. Just going to get him down. It looks like it's all too easy. And he does manage to finish him off. Didn't even need that down. Just managed to mow down the rest of his health. So another point ticked in for TRD.
And yeah, I mean, TRD already have 6 kills as well, so it's going pretty well for them. LP looking a little bit worse for wear here. They've only got one person standing.
But still standing, though, and that's the key. This is what LP do well. They manage to survive longer than they have any business doing.
Yeah, and we do actually have a 0 here, I think it is, with the AWM.
Well, MBZ is going to get one down from SWAT 69. JS's Mehmet's still up. Whoop. So is SWAT. They got to be careful, though. They can't really attack that position that TRD have. One of the last remaining buildings still in the circle.
Look at Gord here. He's right behind SWAT 69. If he just chucks a single grenade there, I think he could actually change the whole direction. And he's actually in the center of the circle.
Right in the dead spot there. Moha. Yeah. Groza sitting on the outside as well. And you can see where Corp is in Light Pirates, just playing to the edge of the circle, but he's unfortunately moving in the direction very slowly to SWAT 69. And UN are still in this too. We haven't talked about them since one of the earlier fights, but they've done a fantastic job of surviving.
Completely. And I mean, I just want to mention on TRD, they're actually in a really bad situation because they're going to have to rotate quite hard and quite far on this part. So they're going to have to play quite dangerously, but they are a high-skilled team, so they might be able to see that happen.
UN lost one of its members. Excuse me, that was JS's Mehmet that gets knocked out. Still one more JS member left, but he's playing up toward the edge and unfortunately having to dip in and out of the circle, in and out of the blue, I should say. 0, he's got that ghillie suit on, trying to keep himself nice and hidden.
Actually did wipe one of the plays with the AWM. So
we're down to 4 teams already. JS is out, 5th. SWAT 69 starting to take heavy casualties as well. I mean, this is just an all-out brawl between the last remaining teams left here.
Let go of the grenade.
Just in time. Oh, no! They take so much damage.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to survive this blue, and it's going to be pushing up against them. They are in the building. I think that building may well just be in, which is really useful for them. And TRD spreading out very well here. They should have a good time of being able to clean up these teams. It depends on if Moha is going to be able to get a grenade out.
Wait, 0 doesn't see it. Oh, and he gets them! Just clips the back of him, though. He doesn't actually take enough damage to get down. So now they know where he is, and they're focusing all their fire back towards the Moha. The rest of SWAT 69 not in a position to help him out, but he's got more nades.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a couple of grenades coming his way, and they're going to do a lot of damage, but he's going to return one.
Yeah, that didn't quite go the angle he wanted. Couldn't quite wrap it around that side of the rock, not without exposing himself too much. And now that that one's already blown, you can see Zero and Hackshot training sights on him. He's going to have to first aid kit, but he's got to be careful he doesn't get flanked.
Yeah, there was a Molotov in, I think, Zero's hand, so if they manage to use that correctly, it'd be fantastic.
Ooh, TRD do have Hixu knocked for now. LPI, I didn't even see. They actually did get completely eliminated towards the end of that. That should have been the 5th place team. But still impressive performance, all things considering. Now you see SWAT 69's Moha still trying to keep it covered here. He chucks a Molotov out. Kevin on the outside, still kind of preoccupied with the UN members and the rest of SWAT 69. It looks like he is going to be able to find one, and Zero gets the finishing blow.
Yeah, so they did make sure that they got those kills, and now Moha is in a really bad position because he's got no backup, and he's going to have to push out here.
Zero's out in the open, though. He does get knocked. Let's see if it's going to be enough, though. Moha, he's going to have to move. The rest of TRD know exactly where he is, and Hixu is even going to get rezzed up by Kevin here. Man, they are so good in these hectic fights. TRD really are the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, just even running through the open, they have everything to sort of lose, but they're still just playing really well. Technically, if they chuck down a smoke, they could pick up Zero. I'd really like to be able to see this, and it's actually just going to be a rush. It's such a dangerous play, but it's going to work out, and now it's going to be the Snake MBZ who could actually potentially come in with a clutch if he comes in at the right time as we go into potentially the final circle here.
Not easy to do up against the likes of TRD, but UN have managed to get into this top 3 as well with only 2 members remaining. This is absolutely TRD's game to lose. They can smell the chicken dinner from here already, but can they get the finish that they'll need to find MBZ's UT Boom?
I mean, one of the difficulties for UN is that they have to down these players before they push out, and they are going to have to push out, and
they lose one.
There's a Molotov as well going out.
Yeah, Kevin has been so accurate on these shots now, so Zeus is the only one left standing up, and that means Hixu is going to be able to easily push in, try and get this breach here. And along with the rest of his team, and here they go to try and clean things up. Zeus is going to be going forward. He does manage to get one down, but he's just running out of time, and that is going to be it for UN, out in 3rd place. So the sneaky snake from UT Boom will finally drop at the end there, and he knew it was going to be hard for him to get the outplay, but it's the chicken dinner coming in for TRD, and there is no surprises there.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic performance coming in from them. I mean, it's not a surprise. They're just doing so well. I mean, they got 13 kills in total that game, plus 1st place. That's a total of 43 kills, which is pretty fantastic for them. I mean, coming in 2nd as well for MBZ, even if they were playing Snake there, they still got 6 kills. That's really good for them. I'm really happy that they actually managed to do that. 3rd one, they still got in 3rd place UN. They did also manage to get 5 kills, so that's also very good. And the points are just going to sort of build up on this run. And TRD just really securing their dominance as, like, so far our favorite, I would say.
No surprises at all, to be honest. Like, they'll pick up a 30 points for the chicken dinner. You mentioned 13 kills also gives them additional 13 points, so that's 43 just off of a single round. I think our record was something like 50, but that was like... Yeah. That was a very rare occasion. That doesn't happen super often. TRD are able to consistently come up with high place finishes. We've not seen them drop below 5th place in any map, and that was just their number 5.
It's just crazy. I mean, what happened there with SWAT 69 as well? They came in the top 5 and they did play very well, but you can see that they're not performing like they did on that Miramar game when they first joined back in. But let's have a look at the highlights here.
Yeah, we already saw some of the early firefights, and this is where UN actually were up against LND, who went out very early despite the fact that they managed to get a couple of downs for themselves. This was a great flank round by Zeus. Honestly, combining up with his teammate, that's one of the reasons why UN lasted as long as they did. Here's Headhunters kind of getting knocked down a little bit by JS. It was sad to see them go out a little early, but they did manage to last a little bit longer just because the BIP was able to kind of wrap around the side and play, sneaky snake on the outskirts of the circle.
Yeah, I mean, it's always important to be able to have a good sort of snake game on this as well, even if it's not obviously the best to watch or to actually play, but it's all about those sort of positioning, get those extra points, even if you go from, obviously, like we mentioned earlier, 8th to 7th, it makes all the difference in the long run of being able to actually qualify for the next stage of the competition. And, I mean, obviously, it's $2.5 million. You need to be on your A game.
Absolutely. Making sure that you can get as many placement points as you possibly can. The flashy kills are always good to see, and this is where JS just lit up Arab Madness. They didn't seem to stand a chance. Impressive performance from the JS side here. Even though you could see H does get dropped, it was all about this wraparound. It was all about getting those pickups on the back side of it. Rip does get downed as well, and there was a lot of crazy fights, but in the end, JS did actually manage to stand strong and lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah, I was really happy with how JS played there, and then TRD, I mean, you can't fault them on this. They managed to, team after team just
that's where they get Corp. Yeah, LPI trying to last as long as they can. Here's Rip kind of moving forward, and MBZ he actually does manage to take down one with him, and I think that was the clutch thing. But MBZ, of course, we all know how that ended. And here was Hackshot. Man, this guy is absolutely a highlight monster. We're seeing whenever he does the aim down sights, he is managing to get those kills. Kevin, not too bad of a player either, and he even was there in the clutch to res up his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually only using the iron sights, which is insane, and he collects 2 kills there. Even one of his teammates sort of helped him secure that.
Yeah, an assist from UN too, but it doesn't matter. He still gets the credit at the end of the day. And here's one of those final firefights where you could see Zeus did everything he could to try and dip, duck, dodge, and, well, dodge again away from all the bullets. But at the end of the day, he couldn't do much more. And then at this point, the last MBZ member pretty much knows his goose is cooked. There's not much else he can do there, so seeds the chicken dinner over, tries to go down a blaze of glory.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to give him props here. It's going in for a bit of a mad one, but let's have a look at the top performing players here. So Zero and Death Zone picking up those 4 kills each is not so bad.
All the TRD members in the top 5. This is crazy.
That's just fantastic for them. And JS as well, making it to the top 4, which is fantastic news for them. And then MBZ, even more so, they get the sort of steady performance in the next selection of the teams of players as well, and all in the top 10. So it's really good from them. Not all of them, sorry, 3 of them in total with the sort of 2 kills. So good performance for them overall.
More of an active game from MBZ. Like we talked about how they were a much more rotational team, usually dropping in the outskirts of the circle. You can't always tell exactly where it's going to be, of course, but it seemed like a lot of the times the circle was always far away from where they were. Ooh. Now we're taking a look at TRD versus MBZ Falcons, and of course this was the 1 and 2 teams, but there is the big difference in kills and damage. Holy moly.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at that, first and second place, the point difference is massive. It's not quite double, not even quite that much, but it's still quite a big difference. And, I mean, Hackshot versus this guy, I mean, the damage is actually less on Hackshot, which is quite interesting to see. I think most of the damage for this player, Usual Keth, maybe, ended up coming out when they're fighting RBK. I mean, the Death Zone 4 versus 0, I mean, it's not really going to say too much, but 894 damage just for himself is more than most teams get per game.
And this is why TRD are such a good squad here. Every one of their players pulls their weight, and usually more than that, and we're going to see that trend continue over as we move over to Zero and EUT Boom. That was the last remaining member of MBZ Falcons, and still, a better performance out of the counterpart on the TRD side, and this is why the squad is so terrifying. They had all 4 members up at the end. They never really stopped to let a man down, really kind of just end up giving his life. They're always covering. They chuck the smokes out pretty easily, and they still managed to pick up lots and lots of damage across the board. Honestly, Hickshu probably had the worst performance on the team, and that's still better than what a lot of the teams dish out.
Yeah, I mean, more kills than most of the teams as well, so it's a pretty impressive performance for them. And, I mean, just going back on what you said there about the fact that they don't leave no man behind, that's true. I mean, they managed to end that game with 0 deaths.
Yeah, every time someone gets knocked, they're like, that's fine, we're going to get them back up. And
yeah, I mean,
it reminds me of Seven Reef Team in a lot of ways. And I think that's why those 2 teams are probably our favorites in the tournament right now. Looking forward to seeing how they can perform going through.
Yeah, and I mean, Seven Reef, I'm really excited to see them perform over this weekend. And then also like TRD, how they perform against them as well.
No, that's absolutely true. Like, looking forward to seeing that in the semifinals is going to be great. I have no doubt in my mind that both those teams will be very easily qualifying through, but I wonder what the standings are going to look like at the end of the day, because 7T managed to get a lot of points out of a couple of clutch performances and just being generally consistent, but TRD just made a huge statement with 43 in a game. They get another chicken dinner on either Vikendi or any of our Erangel maps, and all of a sudden we're probably looking at some big shakeups in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Reef go massive and get 16 kills by himself, or 14 kills by himself, in one of the games, and the chicken dinner, which is really impressive, but they didn't get any other chicken dinners, but TRD definitely can secure those.
Absolutely. Now, if you want to get all that information on the teams, the squads, and up-to-the-minute standings, you can head over to our website over at clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all of that stuff. Looking forward to seeing how they manage to climb up, which, of course, we will check into the standings after the break, too.
Yeah, and it's really important to be able to try and keep on top of these, because obviously only one team eventually qualifies.
Yep, and if you want to be able to check out all the action live, not just for the ME region, but for all of our regions here at the Club Open, you can go ahead and head over to our YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button on youtube.com/PUBG Mobile Esports, and don't forget
to ding-dong that notification bell.
Never gets old every time. Otherwise, we'll be ringing the shame bell for you guys. But, yeah, I mean, so much action going on across the way. We've seen the wildcard region earlier today, India, that just wrapped up before we went on air. EU, of course, is airing at the same time as us. And we have NA, our guys back over there. So looking forward to seeing how all the teams shake out. But we will be going on a short break. When we come back, it will be Vikendi. Do not go anywhere. The PUBG Mobile Club Open rolls on.
Zombie, Darkest Night. The newest mode in the zombie universe is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding the skill will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
And welcome back once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. I'm still Parrot Douglas. He is still We Free Men. That's right, he is multiple. He contains multitudes.
I am at multitudes levels of cool. So, I'll take it. There you go. You can check out our Twitters down below. But more importantly, make sure to check out the standings because they're going to be pretty spicy by the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, some shakeups definitely incoming. TRD really proving true to their name and dominating once again on Sanhok. They found themselves a chicken dinner while leaving no man behind. Some other impressive performances. I did like that snake play out of MBZ Falcons, but let's take a look at the standings as they currently are. Oh, boy. Well, we're still seeing just outside the top 8. TRD on number 2 after 1 game. 3 games back from 7 Reef team. They're catching up. I mean, 1 chicken dinner puts them within touching distance at this point.
That is insane. The fact that they're now second already.
And they have 5 less kills than 7 Reef team with 3 less matches. 3 matches in hand. I mean, this is why this team is so... Honestly, I'm considering them an early favorite. Like, we still have, 2 more days and 3 more maps of today of the group stages, and then the semifinals over 2 weeks. I honestly think these guys could very well be the favorites for the regional finals.
Yeah, I mean, with another, few matches, 3 matches to play to catch up, it's insane that they could easily overtake. I could see them breaking that 200 mark, maybe even sort of 210, 212 mark if they play this consistent level. But we'll see on that front. But, I mean, MBZ, they're in 9th position.
Yeah, we see a lot of these teams really cresting the 100-point mark here on match number 5. You see Live to Kill not too far behind them, 8 points back. And, not bad. They're making up most of the deficit by way of kill points because that's the way that team likes to play. MBZ Falcons a little bit less active with 18 total kills across 5 rounds. You see SWAT 69 not doing too bad. And it kind of makes you wonder, if they had loaded into that first map, how would they be looking right now? And then you look in 17th to 24th place, which is really the cutoff. That's all you have to do to make it into the semifinals. You see Headhunter there creeping up on 963, who had some of their first good rounds in the previous couple of days of play, and then L&D just behind.
I mean, that's actually quite surprising. I didn't realize that Headhunters only had 3 kills. 963 have more kills, and sure, they do have a couple more matches, and Headhunters could definitely.
That is
come
a bit
into
surprising, actually, because they've been playing for placement quite well, but we thought they'd had more frags than that.
Yeah, it just seemed like they got a lot more kills. So they definitely got more knocks, I think, than 963. But let's have a look at this. RBK still not going to be able to break that top 25 mark.
Yeah, and RBK is going to need to pick things up, too, because remember, at the end of this week, only the top 24 teams will actually make it onto the semifinal round. They'll be down from effectively 4 groups down to 3, and there's still 2 more weeks of matches after that to narrow it down to a further 16. But for now, you just need to be above this, so RBK has to do a little bit more.
Yeah, quite interesting. And obviously, there's been a bit of an adjustment for a couple of these teams. There has been some disqualifications for one of the teams, it seems like.
And the Assassins.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little unfortunate for them.
Yeah, I mean, as the rules say, stick to the phone, and we'll.
Yeah, only allowed to play with the phones. No tablets, no nothing like that, no peripherals. So you break the rules and don't get too surprised if you get knocked out.
Yeah, you get slaughtered, and obviously this is just the sort of main start for PUBG Mobile. So we are going to see this kind of stuff happen every so often, but it will happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes going forward. But looking forward to the rest of the teams kind of facing up and showing up here in this next round, because Vikendi, we've seen a couple of performances on already. Some of these teams have not played on Vikendi, or excuse me, have not played on Sanhok before. So now getting to see them here on a slightly more familiar place, a little colder, I suppose. We're going up to the icy north.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite maps so far for a couple of these teams, because there's been a lot of interesting players. We actually saw LTK in their first game. They actually ended up winning it because they had circle sort of positioning, and they have actually performed in other games as well. We did see them play pretty well in that last game, but unfortunately they did end up dropping off the face of the earth. But we'll see if they can actually get the position again this time round, or if they're just going to end up dying off to one of the teams like GS.
Yeah, honestly, I was a little surprised we saw so many of those early fights, because we had seen kind of a tournament meta develop a little bit more where players were dropping a little bit further out and not engaging in early fights unless they really wanted control of an urban area. We saw this on Erangel with the likes of Pachinki, which is obviously a very popular destination for a lot of teams. But usually they've been ceding a bit of ground over, and it seems like those teams may not have the fear of TRD just yet, but I think they will probably learn after that last round.
Yeah, I mean, it's about sort of securing that dominance and making teams a little bit more afraid of you, and I think that's going to definitely happen with TRD now. I think these teams are going to pay attention. Okay, where are they? How do we avoid them? How are they playing? How can we copy that?
Yeah, fair enough. So we'll be looking to drop into the next round. I want to look ahead a little bit to the Erangel matches, too, because I think that's going to be a really telling one. We saw some super clutch performances of the likes of 7 Reef team last week.
I'm so excited.
I just love Erangel, man. It's a fun map. I mean, nothing against Vikendi. Don't get me wrong. There's some really cool spots. I really want to see a Dino Park Circle, please. Can we get that? Just one of these days. But we've had some pretty fun ones on Erangel today, or rather in the last week.
Yeah, we need that Dino Park so we can make some of the Jurassic Park memes.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get a little bit more of that Raptor fences down and all that. But just as a reminder, if you want to get all the information on the squads, including up-to-the-minute standings, as well as full lineups, you can head over to our website at clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all that stuff. And not just for the MEA region, you can get it for everybody competing. That includes Wildcard, NA, India, and everywhere else. So, it's not just the Middle East that's competing here, but that's the one you want to watch, right? And, if you want to know where you can watch all of those regions, including ours, of course, you'd be watching right now, but you can head over to youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE Esports. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you do not miss a minute of the action. And, of course,
ding dong that notification bell.
Yeah, you won't want to miss it for sure. Looking forward to seeing how the next couple of games go through here. We are getting ready to gear up into the Vikendi drop-up. But if you had any predictions here, Tom, like what we've seen so far, obviously TRD notwithstanding being a really strong team, who else have you got your eye on as we move into Vikendi?
I really want to see LTK do some good work. I think I think the surprise performance may well be from MBZ if they play like they did in that game. I mean, they just happened to be positioned by RBK. And then when they realized they were there, they actually had a really good performance against them. So I kind of want to see that coming into the next game as a bit of a surprise result. It's not likely to happen, but I want it to see it happen.
Yeah, well, snake strats work out, and it did work out in that last one. I wonder if they'll be able to pull it off this time around, too. Like, an interesting thing about today is we don't have a lot of maps that are lacking for cover because we don't play any games on Miramar this week.
Yep.
So we might see a little bit more of these, like, hideout kind of strategies, and it might work pretty well. It looks like we are going to be dropping in pretty quickly. So let's take a look, and that is a very northern plane path.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be going straight from, like, the obviously more dominating northern circle, flight path right next to Cosmo Drone and also Coal Mine. So there's going to be a couple of teams who will drop a bit early, try to spread down as far south as they can, trying to stay away from the sort of dominant teams. TRD, where are they going to land?
That is the question, because you got to think teams are going to try to avoid them as best as they can. We're already seeing a couple squads drop out. It looks like IK are going to head up towards Trevno, and there are TRD dropping straight center of the map, and it looks like going slightly south of Coal Mine. Oh, they might even go a little further out to Garaka.
Pretty much all the teams dropped as TRD did. I mean, there's a majority of them, I think, actually around that area. So it's interesting to see where they do end up landing.
Ooh.
I think they are going to have to pick up a couple of cars in there.
That is a circle right in the middle of it all.
Okay, so what I want to see, although Dino Park is fantastic, is right on the edge, very unlikely to see. Mount Kresnik is what I want to see happen.
Well, it is a little closer to the center for sure. Nobody's dropping there for now, but definitely keep your eyes on where TRD are. Looks like they're going to have a team right on top of them. It's actually AM.
It's like they're just consistent battle partner. They can't seem to get anywhere or shake them loose, which is...
It's almost like they want to fight them. Like they're just tailing them the whole time.
Yeah, I wonder if AM are just like, you know what, we're going to take you on. We know where you're going to go.
All right.
Garaka? Yeah, we're coming for you. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they do perform in this, because if TRD do get knocked out early, that could really harm their sort of future sort of ability to be able to try and make it to the top leaderboard.
Yeah, but I think honestly, unless they get into a firefight with like 3 teams who are all jumping on top of them at the same time, they just seem so strong. And they always know where to go getting for a good loot spot, and the teams not necessarily respecting that might end up getting punished for it. So here we see the first drop. This is a little bit towards the western side where LP and LTK are up against one another, and they should be aware of each other's presence right now. But in the early stages of the looting, we won't have too much firefights. And here's TRD and AM on different sides of the town.
Yeah, and I think Butcher is actually a sub, because I'm fairly certain we haven't seen him in the other games. So it's going to be interesting to see how he affects the performance on AM on this map. And here at RBK, they did actually perform very well in their first time on this map, thanks to their sort of placement in the circle and in hiding in the building. It'll be interesting to see if they are actually able to sort of replicate that into this game today.
All right, we're underway here. JS, surprise contender last time around. That's definitely a team I want to keep my eyes on because, as we saw in the standings, they were a little further down, just survive, and we'll see if they're able to do a little bit more here, like we saw on Sanhok, once more on Vikendi. But always want to keep our eyes on TRD because if there is going to be a place that is going to have some early firefights and some impressive performances, it's probably going to be of these guys. Good split for them, too. You can see spread across these multiple buildings here, but always keep your eyes on Hackshot as well because he's going to be the one putting players in sights quickly.
I don't really want either one of these teams to get wiped out this early because they're definitely some of our favorites. And I mean, if we have a look at the map here, we can obviously see that the dominant sort of pressure of players is really on the southern, sort of western side of that circle, and it's sort of really going to be sticking around that side. We might see a couple of teams rotate up north, but I don't think people are going to rotate too far in vehicles. I think it is going to be that sort of compound to compound in this kind of circle. There's a couple of areas that you are going to want to sort of rotate on. Sort of cars, and I think actually one of those RVK members is actually AFK on top of a roof.
That's not great.
I mean, it could actually be the best result for them
bait.
somehow. Bait.
Yeah, if just nobody ever sees him, he just stands there forever, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess it's fine.
Just wins the match.
Yeah.
Casual.
Over to the western side. Man, LP really do like dropping as far away as they can. I bet they're probably a little annoyed that LTK are around, to be honest. These guys don't really seem to like taking fights early on. They really are about the placement survivalist mentality.
I mean, they're like pirates. They just want to have, like a light, chilled time.
Yeah, it's the light side, not the pirate side. They don't go in and try to take everybody else out.
And here are MBZ, obviously one of the teams I mentioned about being a potential surprise sort of performance from these guys. I do want to root for them because they've had a few interesting moments. But back on over towards AM versus TRD.
Always have to keep panning over to these guys just in case something starts.
Yeah, I would have to say they are pretty much the top 2 teams in this lobby.
I think it's fair. I think LTK came in maybe a little bit more
Yeah.
favored, but they didn't perform nearly as well last time. So I kind of agree with you here. I think between AM and TRD, these are probably the 2 biggest teams to watch at the moment. And, well, IK are going to be going for a bit of a road trip.
I mean, they were just pooping out those 2-time scripts there. Don't really care.
Yeah, here's LND as well. UN, that's another thing I want to point out is that UN had a really solid performance on map number 1 on Sanhok. A lot more, I think, than we were expecting out of them.
Yeah, we actually saw LND versus UN last time, and we're going to be seeing it again right now.
Yeah, not too surprising. Ooh, UN, they have the compound, though.
These teams seem to be playing against each other very often. And, I mean, Faker's going to be making the first push, but it's going to be Master who takes the first shot.
Yeah, it's going to be a knock already early on. UN moving forward. Master ducking to cover below the stairs here.
I mean, having these this knock is fantastic. I mean, Drugs is heavily damaged.
And so is Riot,
as well.
too. I mean, there's really almost nobody fully healthy here except Needle, and he's kind of stuck trying to get Faker up. He does manage to get him on his feet, but already taken pretty low in this early fight now. You can see Hunter manning this doorway.
That's a bit of a shame. I kind of expected UN to be able to do a bit more damage, but they should have these guys a lot on lockdown. They are grouping inside this one building, so the angles are pretty limited to what they can cover. Drugs is going in for the push, which is a mistake, I'd have to say.
Looking for that peek around.
Yeah.
But he moves away anyways.
Okay, so they are actually going to back away from this. This was actually a good play from LND. Doesn't seem like they have the full sort of med situation. They're having to sort of heal outside of the actual firefight. We're going to switch on over to one of the teams that is rotating. It's going to be IK.
Yeah. I found 2 vehicles too. This is the big difference between, like our first day and now we finally see teams really adopting into those like multi-vehicle stacks and still really only doing 2 for the most part, but that's a hell of a lot safer than cramming everybody into one and hoping you don't get blown to pieces.
So, I mean, one of the biggest differences between the 2 teams here, TRD surrounding and trying to encompass the whole of AM. AM have got sort of a few different angles, but really just clumped it together. So if they get shot from multiple angles, it could actually be the end of them. And oh, it looks like NND don't want to get finished, and they're running.
Yeah, UN just say, this is our house. Don't come back anytime soon.
Get out of here.
Chucking them out of the village. Oh, look at this. One of the AM members is wrapping around, though. No, he's actually just going to go and rejoin the team. I was hoping he was going to go for a flank, but it's so hard to flank onto TRD because look at the split they've got. Ooh, and through the window, that one nade didn't quite find its mark, but it was a nice angle for sure.
Yeah, and so now Quiet's actually realized that Kevin's in this counter position, so this is going to be splitting up AM
And Butch is coming
bit.
through. Yeah, Kevin realizes he's giving away his position, so he's actually going to have to leap out.
No helmet is a really bad idea to sort of like then fight against people with, so he is going to run for it, which is good for him. He's going to be able to get away. I mean, AM aren't going to go sort of hardcore chase because they know there's teammates from TRD behind them.
Yeah, you can see Zero is also there on the low ground, whereas the other 2 members have kind of been hanging out. Hixu and Hackshot up on the high. Still, though, that one is, at the moment, a stalemate. We're going to keep our eyes on LTK as well.
I'm not quite sure who is closest to them. Maybe we can have a look. But there you go. There's Dino Park. You actually see it for a little bit.
We do get one. One team, unfortunately, didn't really like Dino Park too much. They're going to be leaving. This is Loot 46. Ooh, meanwhile, back to the fight. Looks like Zero does find it down on a Butcher.
And no one's going to be on Butcher, so no one's going to be able to pick him up. They're going to have to depend on trying to actually get the kills here. And it's actually going to be a push.
Hixiu's breached
Yeah.
into the house right now. Zero might come in and flank around. AM could be in some serious trouble, and this is one of the dangers of trying to engage TRD early on. You're in danger of getting wiped out off the map, and you lose a heck of a lot of points that you could have picked up if you go out in 11th place.
Yeah, just don't mess with these guys, that they are going to screw you up. And I think now that AM realize that it's TRD, they're probably like, okay, well, we might have made a mistake here. We should have probably run, but
Quiet.
Quiet getting knocked down as well.
That's 2 knocks. All of a sudden, things are not looking too hot here. It's down to B52 and Molotov to try and carry the team. Molotov has actually got a good spot just up above these stairs, but TRD are such a good team in firefights. They're not going to be going up there. So Molotov's not going to get a chance to fire him down.
I mean, the massive issue is here that AM are completely under-equipped. I mean, Molotov is 0 ahead. Like, he has no helmet. He has no backpack. He has no meds at all.
And look at the patience here from TRD. They're going to be able to find the moments to try and get the finishing blow off, and Zero will take down Butcher. That was kind of a foregone conclusion there. Meanwhile, take a look at 46 again, and we now are watching on MBZ. They found themselves a compound to their own, so the extended looting will kind of keep on going here.
Yeah, I mean, MBZ are going to be able to loot up fairly heavily, and that's actually a good thing for moving forward. They're going to be able to get plenty of smokes, which will be needed towards the end game, I'd imagine. Headhunters do need to do very well in this game to try and catch up on a lot of the points. Obviously, they haven't really got that many kills. I think it was only 3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was surprising.
Low, 963. And
ooh, here's the big breach. B52's already pieced out. I think Molotov.
Yeah. This was a bit of a GG from them
yeah,
on this part.
Bit of a concede.
Just get out and just hope for the best. And
all right, well, here he goes. See if they can take somebody down with them. There is one down, but unfortunately, that is going to be all they will get. So AM pretty much down to one member because Quiet's slowly bleeding out there on the knock, and he should be dead pretty soon. Now, TRD playing very smart, actually, not taking for granted the fact that they've pretty much eliminated AM because they don't know where B52 is. So for all they know, he could still be somewhere lurking in a corner, but he's just going to be off on his own now, playing for placement, and he is the last man standing officially as Quiet goes down.
yeah, and he has actually got a level 3 helmet, which is very nice because on Vikendi they do actually spawn naturally, not just in the cases. And he just needs to be able to loot up because one of the main issues that they had on AM is that although they were camping in those buildings, they didn't have any loot. They were really short on what they were able to do. But switching on, JS, definitely one of the teams that we want to keep an eye on because they performed quite nicely last game. I'll go in for that rotate, and then we'll hop on over towards 46. They are just sort of sitting around these buildings at the moment inside the circle.
We didn't see much of 46 last round. I wasn't entirely certain if they loaded in or not because we didn't really get an eye view of them at any point during the game. But 46 have been one of those teams that have kind of been hanging around, shuffling between, just below that 25th position and maybe a little bit higher. They do need to kind of break in. They are sort of one of those teams that are on the bubble in order to make it into the semifinals next week.
Definitely. We might actually see some action here between UN and Headhunters, and I think UN are probably a bit more favored in this situation in regards to sort of firepower in firefights. Headhunters can tend to get quite a lot of knocks, but they're not quite good at finishing.
No, not quite. There's Dr. Savage. That was the last man standing for Headhunters last time around. We'll see where the next circle actually does close in. You wanted to see Mount Kresnik, and that's still a possibility here, but the next circle will go a little further to the south. We actually are still seeing Dino Park in play, but nobody's there. I'm very sad about that, but that's okay.
Yeah, the game's going to listen. It's just going to hard shift each time. And look at this. A little bit of dancing coming in.
Woo, nice flips.
Hey.
He's got some moves there on the Headhunters side.
Mr. Julius 0219. Lovely name. He's got the G.
I think you can leave the numbers down. But hey, that's fine if you want.
Maybe he identifies by the numbers. He doesn't actually care about Julius. It's
no.
Just that 0419 is actually his name. Just how he rolls.
That'd be an interesting name for sure. Taking a look. Speaking of interesting names, we're going to be watching Light Pirates as well. LP here. Found themselves a nice little spot, far away from most teams. Loot 46 is the closest one around, and neither team really seems all that keen on engaging here. We do want to keep our eye once more on this one compound between UN and Headhunters. A little better positioning for UN. They've actually got Zeus around the side, too, so he's got pretty much everybody from Headhunters in his sights.
Yeah. See what they can actually perform in this part. I mean, UN already did very, very well against LTK. And actually forced LTK to run for the hills. Ooh. And look at another orb. And it's right next to the bloody
man.
TRD. They perform so
They don't need anything, but they've got a military vest, a helmet level 3 for both, and an AWM. If they only want to go grab it.
I mean, Zero grabbed AWM last time and Ghillie suit, and he performed tremendously with it. But I think we are going to be seeing a bit of a firefight come out here between UN and also Headhunters, because
Headhunters coming up.
Pushing.
Yeah, here on Via. Coming through, Master sees him, does manage to get the knock on to Julius, so maybe he should have been keeping his head low rather than dancing about here as the Molotov does come through.
Yeah, and he's actually blocking a couple of areas off here with these Molotovs, forcing them in a certain sort of direction, and Julius is going to run sort of crawl off away from these guys, so he may be able to get picked up by a teammate.
Good nade bounce. Master's going to have to take some cover there. He actually moves away just in time. Saw that one coming. We don't usually see that kind of angle actually happening, so really good play there out of Headhunters.
So he's going to be looking to peek again. We do have the Savage
up.
Trying to peek in here.
Let's see if he can do it.
Mr. Relax is going to be able to pick up Julius. Julius is going to be a little bit low in health, and he's a bit like, what just happened? Where did these guys come from?
Yeah, they're backing away this time around. They realize maybe this isn't the best time to fight, not the best team to fight for sure, so they will cede Villa away from UN, or at least for the time being. They back up where the BAP is actually holding up the flank side. And now we're going to check in with LTK, playing around the edge of the circle here, over to the west.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen a team fall away from the UN, and it's actually going to be LTK who did it the first time we're viewing right now as they run across the open. Now IK, probably one of the not most favored teams. They've been pretty easy for a couple of teams to just wipe and get a couple of free kills on. But we'll see. Hopefully they can actually perform a little bit better this game.
Yeah, nobody's dropped just yet. We had 12 teams load in, 12 teams still alive. However, AM are down to a single member here, and we saw what happened in that TRD engage. And honestly, AM are probably the only team that have ever engaged TRD and lived to tell of it, but they do seem to come off worse for wear.
Yeah, I think we've seen VW actually do interestingly against TRD, but I think they just ended up going their separate ways instead of fighting to the death, which is actually TRD's usual way, that they will not move away.
Yeah, we did see that last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So TRD have gone into a slight sort of shift, but in the same place, pretty much in Goraka. They haven't picked up that package, so no AWM, and the circle shift is going to come down, and unfortunately, Villa is actually in focus here, so there's actually a high opportunity for that to come in, but it is more likely in the next circle, if I'm right saying. After this one will be the fourth. LP, what are you doing, lads?
They're having a dance party up in the ceiling.
A little bit of a dance party, you know, getting that booty on, like shaking it all over the place. Got to give them props to that one, but
here's the fight. Ooh, they've got 2 knocks down onto Master and Hunter. That was quick.
How the tables.
Who was breaching who? Yeah, Headhunters actually haven't moved away from their double compound, so impressive stuff from them. And now let's see if they can come in and try to finish the job. Yeah. Zeus is looking to wrap around.
I think UN probably got a little bit too big for their head. They were going in for the push there, and unfortunately, they may well be good at defending, but not so good at pushing. But talking about pushing, MZ are going to go in for the rotate, and LP here still just dancing the no way. They don't care. They're still in the circle for now. The next one won't be so much. They do have to be careful.
Yeah, they're going to have to move sooner or later, and I think they know this right now, but they are just taking the moment to try and relax, have a little bit of fun before it moves into the next stage of play. So back over at Villa right now, Headhunters. Do they see Hunter, though? That's the question. He's occupying this building the opposite of their side. He's actually going to leave, so they should know. Yeah. Hunter going to come back in.
I mean, he's going to be teaming up with
Zeus,
here with Zeus, which is going to definitely help them, but they're now just going to be looking to back away from this situation.
Hunter's coming in. The Babe and Dr. Savage, they're there. Julius is coming in on the flank. Ooh, grenades primed, though. As the shots start getting fired down, Dr. Savage, he comes in. He does get down, but not before he knocks Hunter as well. And the Babe's coming in, gets Zeus back down onto his knees, and that's going to be 2 quick knocks, looking to turn into kills as well. Dr. Savage may be crawling around on the ground here, but it looks like UN are nearly going to get wiped out. They're down to a single member, and he knows he's got to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, it's just like, no, this is not for me. And JS are going to be hearing the shots, may well come over and join in on this. They're so close, actually, so we will actually be seeing a firefight very shortly.
He's trying to move away from all of them. Looks like Julius is going to get knocked down, though. Aids, he's smelling some blood. He comes in, manages to get 1 knock, and while they're holed up in this compound, this is rough because, you know, 1 errant nade could spell the end of them here as JS coming in to try to make the play.
And Rip did take a bit of full damage there as he tries pushing on.
I was wondering what happened about that. I was like, he didn't. There were no bullets coming that direction.
Yeah.
What hit him?
Yeah,
the ground.
He's just gonna have to pop a nice energy drink, maybe Red Bull or whatever the favorite is on the
so many games where you drop, you don't take fall damage. Man, physics needs to be represented. Yeah, I mean, definitely is in PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, I mean, like Apex, there's no physical damage at all, but PUBG Mobile got that sweet physics.
Here's Rip.
Game, which is beautiful, especially on a PUBG mobile game. It's so impressive.
Oh yeah, it looks quite good actually.
Oh, definitely,
that's a nice thing.
So
UN the spectating experience that you all deserve.
Yeah, and I mean, UN's going to be able to back away from the situation. How long for? Who knows? Luckily for him, the Headhunters did get distracted, and talking of people trying to survive, it is actually going to be 52. Going to be able to make it into a different compound. It's actually just above Goraka.
Yeah, it's just kind of come back into the scene of the crime here, but he's seen that TRD have kind of pulled up roots and moved already. So as soon as he can keep just an arm's length distance away from them, he might be able to survive a lot longer than AM really expected to. Still, no teams have been fully knocked out here on Vikendi.
Yeah, it's always been that sort of like, right, we need to get positions, and they know the time the clock is ticking. This weekend, it means everything for these guys. If they don't perform correctly, it's going to be the end. And this should shift further up north, or maybe even actually very central. There we go. It does do exactly that. And this is going to be favoring that Villa sort of position. Goraka is going to be out, but TRD are going to be very close to the center here. JS
like TRD
not so bad.
Did manage to grab the loot out of that box finally. So who has the AWM? That's the big question.
Zero.
Of course.
I mean, it's got to be Zero here. He has performed greatly with snipers, and I think he is just a resident sniper for that fact. This is one of the things that usually come into play. It hasn't been so much for a lot of the teams so far. As we go through and sort of the PUBG Mobile scene grows, we will see that more so.
Better a resident sniper than a resident sleeper, that's for sure. Even though we're on YouTube, going to take a look here at LPI. They're going to be making a run for it themselves. Not a lot of vehicle play here on Vikendi. We haven't seen just a couple of cars, but for the most part, a lot of these players, after finding their positions, didn't really manage to grab too many cars. This is the exception here with IK, who've been going on a pretty much continuous road trip here. Still 12 teams alive as the circle continues to shrink. We're getting closer to that 19-minute mark on the map.
Yeah, but I mean, they are still alive, so you know, I'll give them props for that.
So is Bonemer here.
Somehow. And he's actually in a pretty dangerous position, but this building has a lot of rooms.
He's found the far side on Villa. And this is the thing, Headhunters actually haven't pushed into this, which kind of surprises me. They've kept their low ground positioning. I guess they're a little bit worried about exposing themselves on the rotation to the likes of JS, and you know, maybe rightly so, because there were some downs happening. And here's MBZ Falcons, team we had talked about a lot more last round, but not so much this time around. It looks like they're kind of encroaching onto this long standout between L&D and Loot 46.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, they actually drove a vehicle very close to L&D, are going to be fully aware of their presence, and so are 46.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be UT Boom already knocked. And unfortunately, his teammates are kind of far away, and this is one of the biggest differences between this MBZ squad and some of the other ones, is they are willing sometimes to sacrifice teammates in the name of positioning.
Yeah, and hopefully this does work out for them. We are going to be seeing Lost Kev going for those shots. He doesn't really get anything laid on there.
Oh, here's the rotate for 46, though.
It's going to be dangerous because L&D are right here, and 46 don't seem to realize.
Yeah, this is going to be a big third-party fight. Meanwhile, Bonemer actually does manage to get 2 downs off screen, getting some revenge for what Headhunters did to his team, but we got to check back in with this. Holy moly, they go in for the full breach, and he can't quite get the outplay, so he will get knocked, and he will get taken out in 12th place. Oh, boy.
Zero has got it, but look at the fight coming in here. L&D knocking one.
Yeah, LMD having the high ground advantage, or having the upstairs advantage, rather, as they wait for the push in.
Get out of my building. And I just want to mention, Zero has got that AWM.
Yeah.
I think he's already got 2 knocks, but he has actually been return knocked by JS members.
It's a bit surprising.
RIP.
It's a bit surprising here. We'll see that circle as it continues to shrink down. TRD, the only team right in the middle of it, but everybody else kind of engaged in this big long-out firefight. Second floor completely on fire thanks to that Molotov cocktail, as L&D trying to keep Loot 46 at bay. MBZ on the outside looking in. This is one tense fight.
There's going to be a couple of nades going out here, but they're not really going to be too effective because there's too many walls here stopping the real damage coming out. If L&D could change that position, it'd be fantastic. Maybe jump out one of the windows. You can get on top of the roof there, if I'm right in saying. After you climb out the window, but the shot's going to be coming out on MBZ from Faker.
Oh my goodness, just spraying across the board. And it looks like Kevlos is going to be the one that gets taken down there. UT Script also. MBZ having a lot of trouble here. It's only going to be one healthy member. UT Boom's back on his feet. And it looks like LND and Loot 46 getting the better of it. There's the drop down from Faker here. He could wrap around, get the finishing kill off onto Kevlos.
This is so important. Now 46 are going to be peeking over the edge.
Oh, he gets Faker.
MBZ.
Man, there's still some bite in this team right now, despite taking a whole lot of damage. But unfortunately, Kevlos managed to get himself knocked. And meanwhile, Riot as well engaged back and forth. The MBC members are coming in hot and heavy, but they only got one more remaining. And it looks like that's going to be the wipe out in 11th place for MBZ. What a turnaround from game 1.
And very quickly, we're going to be going down to 10 teams. And the circle is going to be coming in, pushing these guys further and ever closer to Villa area, but Drugs is looking to take a couple of shots there.
B52 is even running, hopefully for him for safety, but doesn't look like the case. Meanwhile, Needle on the high ground is going to find some extra damage onto Hazim here, but L&D, they're down to one healthy member, and they're all fighting in the blue at this point. None of the teams seem to realize that that's going to finish them all off soon enough.
Yeah, he does have to heal. If he doesn't heal right now with the bandage, he will go down. That'll be the end for L&D, but Movement is going to be running in 1446. Needle is going to go down to the circle, and that's going to be L&D going out in 10th position just due to the fact that he didn't get the heals off in time.
Yeah, so that fight ends, you know, not with a bang, with Whimper for sure. Meanwhile, we're checking back in with AM's last remaining member who's managed to survive it out and outlast a couple of these other squads. Just trying to play the snake game, but he's got to be careful. He's playing up inside the blue as it stands. And looks like Loot 46 going to try to make a run for it as well, but they're pretty far out. See if they can get into the relative safety. B52 might actually see him coming up here, and the question is, will they see him? Meanwhile, checking back in with TRD, nade primed, Molotov cocktail, I should say, as they try to breach in onto Headhunter's territory here on the south side of the safety zone.
Hopefully we can actually flip back to that, because that's going to be a really interesting fight between Headhunters and TRD. I mean, TRD being obviously the main favorites there. For them
So
to
many
go for
slow
the win.
rotations here. It looks like Loop 46 actually get dropped out thanks to the play zone.
Yeah, and I mean, that was mainly because of the fact that there's so much, so many firefights going on outside the circle. But firefights.
So ends Headhunters. No surprises there. When TRD wants your house, they are going to come in and take it. And they knock Headhunters out into 8th place, unfortunately for them.
So I think LTK may be the last fully intact team apart from TRD, if I'm right in saying. There may be one other team. Oh yeah, LP maybe. Oh, and JS are doing fairly well. So there's still a couple of teams here. Oh, IK are actually up, but potentially not for long because RBK, another remaining team. So
Yeah.
I'm slightly off on that goal, but still, it's not going to be
Soon
too
enough
bad.
to change. Oh, B52. He gets dropped down. 7th place, finish now.
Wow.
Man, that was a headshot, too. He wasn't even downed.
Stuck out in the blue and had to get a shot on. So RBK trying to recover here. So IK have the higher position on them, but they're outside of the circle by quite a bit here. Both teams, actually. So as the circle pushes in, they're both going to have to fight against each other.
I think IK have to move first, though.
Yeah, no, they do. So they're going to have to be careful here because they can't really rotate in the open. They haven't got too much health on one of the players as well, so we'll see.
And here's TRD. They're watching from a nice safe distance, well within on the other side of the circle as well. But as it starts to go down, we're sub 20 players here in this game. 6 teams remaining. TRD once again looking in a commanding spot. LTK, though, they have a chance to make some good plays as well as they sneak into the northwest side of the safe zone. Here's the rotation coming in from IK. You can see some heavy cover fire here from Kramek.
Yeah, so I mean, what's important to note is on the right-hand side here, you're going to be seeing 2 of the members of IK actually sneaking up right next to the circle and actually potentially doing a bit of a switcheroo and forcing the upper hand on their side, but RBK are going to get 1 knock.
Yeah, as Kramek's going to be taken down. Oh, and they did not see that coming. RBK have another member down. It's Hoger who was on the outside looking in, and he's going to prime that Molotov to try and finish the job here as Barrow's coming in as well.
Yeah, so it didn't quite land, but RBK are now going to be running away from the house because they do realize what has happened. Unfortunately, IK didn't actually sort of really make a real purchase on this, and they may well end up going down if they're not careful.
Yeah, meanwhile, JS looks like they've run afoul of TRDs. Kevin does get a knockdown, but RBK realizing that IK kind of pulled the wool over their eyes here, now find themselves in a much less favorable position. Mehmet kind of bleeding out on the ground. Looks like he will finally fall. JS, SWAT is also taking a heaping helping of damage. And RBK, they're getting turned on once more.
But
Good play from IK.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually going to be IK doing the main amount of sort of down.
They do get one knock, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This fight still feels pretty even.
It's not too bad, but LP going to be able to knock out JS, I think, from this. That's pretty
Yes,
interesting.
better plays to get some finishing kills there from the LP side, and they are in the top 5 right now, so we'll see if they can keep that one going. Barrow's unfortunately going to get taken down, and this one, RPK losing members to the play zone. Kramek does die to the Molotov cocktail, though.
Yeah, I mean, that Molotovs were just perfect. There's one person left standing right now, and I mean, he's standing next to a burning teammate, but it doesn't matter what he does. He should have died, but he's going to have to try and go in for the knock, and he does that, but in return, he's going to get killed, and RBK wiped them.
Yeah, it looked really tense for a moment, but they managed to stand tall, and all of a sudden, we're down to 3 teams, and would you believe it, RBK are one of them.
On Vikendi, I mean, I called them out for it, and they've done exactly that, and it's actually going to be a 3 versus 3 versus 4, with TRD being the obvious favorites here. I mean, LTK have got the hard cover in the buildings, but I have to say, I mean, it's going to be hard to say that TRD are not going to win this.
Yeah, honestly, they're almost always the favorites going into the rounds, but it's just so impressive how well they managed to survive over and over and over again. Now, they are going to have a couple members inside the car. Hackshot really debating whether or not he wants to get into this one or if he wants to rejoin. It looks like his teammate Kevin in that one, as they'll need to rotate away. But RBK waiting the wings. So are LTK. And I think LTK are a little bit more dangerous team. They've got to be feeling frustrated with their performance on Sanhok.
Yeah.
They'll be looking for a better placement this time around.
Yeah, I mean, LTK have definitely been one of the more interesting teams, and they've had a really good performance on this map, very similar to RBK as well. And there's actually going to be another package there, but it doesn't seem like the guys are going to go and loot.
They got the AWM. They've got all the level 3 stuff. They don't need anything else. And it looks like they're moving up into LTK territory as they try to light up the cars here, not finding purchase on the shots.
And this isn't too much what you'd see. I mean, they're the only team that actually do these rotations with the card this often and this well.
It's one of the reasons it sets them apart.
Yeah.
From a lot of the other teams. Looks like Modrem
going
to be priming a nade here. Is it a smoke? No, it's actually a frag. Okay. Well, as they pop out.
And the RBK are going to be pushing in. Are they going to be able to make it in?
Looks like H-Mode's going to get taken down by one of the LTK members. That was Red Bull that gets the knock onto him. RBK moving forward, and all of a sudden we are in our final firefight here. Zone 7. Very long game, actually, by Vikendi standards. As we hit the 28-minute mark, RBK loses a member to Kevin.
So
Get
they
some
have
heals up, though.
one person standing here, and the angle is not in their favor, but they have got the centralized position on the circle, and the other teams are going to have to play around them. So if they can get that player up, they could actually do very well from just hiding in that position, because LTK and TRD are going to fight.
Yeah, it looks like it. Red Bull under fire from Zero right now. Little short nade there. Looks like that's going to be the smoke thrown down just to get covered. RBK playing snakes.
Oh, they actually got one knocked as well from LTK, and LTK fighting on multiple angles here. So they have to be careful in their sort of resource management. We do have TRD looking to go in for a rotation here.
Zero is going to get knocked, though. That's great by Mojrim from LTK. He actually manages to eliminate him. That's very rare that we see that happen. A member of TRD actually taken out of the picture here. Looks like RBK going to blow their own car.
Yeah, and that's a better idea to do. It means they can't get shot underneath it, but they're so low on HP right now. It's all going to be down to Hixu, who could actually go in for the push here. Even a simple nade could end them.
Looks like he just wants to cover behind the tree. However, will he fire into that one? Still, 7 players alive.
Ooh.
3 teams standing. Molotov out.
That was so close to be in the end, but the spray comes in.
And he's got it. Down is RBK in 3rd place, and it is 3v3. TRD and LTK.
And I mean, LTK have been playing fantastically in this circle, but unfortunately for them, they have not got the position at all. Unfortunately for them, they have to run out their buildings, and they have to run down that wall. And Kevin has got such a fantastic position on this, and so is Hackshots as well.
You always have to favor TRD in these straight-up firefights, but we have seen stranger things happen. LTK managed to do it. Very few teams have been able to and knock out one of the TRD members. Can they do it again? Hixu putting up in his sights, finding one of the LTK members, and he doesn't quite find the down. Finally, he gets the answer onto Mojram, and he manages to get Hackshot downed as well. That slum from LTK on the opposite side, so it looks like we're in a straight-up 2v2.
Yeah, and I think they may well be able to stay on this ledge, and they're going to go in for the pickup here. I'm very surprised they haven't been shot, but it's going to be Slum going in for the push.
Yeah, although Slum's got to be careful. Nobody can really get him back up there, and Kevin just spraying out the best he can. Red Bull manages to get the res onto his teammate here. Slum is down, though, so they're going to have to turn things around here. And it looks like it's Kevin opening up some fire, and that will be the end of it. TRD with another chicken dinner.
They've got first place.
100%.
100% there. That is insane. And
look at those kills. 13 again.
13.
Another 43 points. You've got to be kidding me.
Lucky number, you know? Got to give them that. I mean, they may well say, like, okay, we don't actually manage to get that 16 kills on one of our players, but we're consistent as a team. We haven't got that one player that dominates, like, Reef. So very well played by them, and have to give them mad points. Another 43-point
They earned
game.
mad points, man.
That is insane. I mean, that's...
This is why we call them the favorites. I mean, TRD are so insanely good, and it isn't one player, like you mentioned. We talked about how Reef can be a clutch player on 7T, and that makes them dangerous because the rest of them are all serviceable. But TRD have 4 all-stars on their squad.
I mean, when it comes down to it, if we really sort of broke down what happened there in that last circle, you could actually see they had about 3 different parts in their whole team there, even when they had 4 players. And they sort of separated off into different positions, and then let's have a look at this sort of highlights
Start for
here.
Headhunters. But yeah, this is also this L&D fight with UN, and honestly, this was quite tense for a while, but UN, even though they got down to 1 member, managed to turn it around later. We'll see that one here as the AM squad kind of runs afoul of TRD.
Hey.
LPI have a bit of a dance party, and well, that lasts for a little while.
I want them to change their name to DP, so it's Dance Pirates.
Okay.
Not anything else. UN, though, this was quite an interesting fight between them and Headhunters.
It looked like they were going to get the better of them for sure. And, you know, back to our dancing pirates once again.
Why not, mate? Why not?
Yeah. Spent a lot of time. I wish we had a stat for time spent dancing. These guys would win.
They got a decent position as well, which is always surprising. And UN, unfortunately, they're going down to Headhunters and MBZ. Are going to be able to sort of make it very close to this firefight.
But they get wiped so early, considering so many teams managed to stay alive. MBZ, I mean, from a 2nd place finish to an 11th, that doesn't feel too good.
Yeah, and I mean, we've sort of noticed that a lot of teams went down to the blue, and this was the main sort of cause for a couple of those teams here.
Yeah, and that big old firefight between these 3 squads here really doesn't end in favor of MBZ, but L&D don't actually come off a whole lot better because they end up bleeding out to the blue.
Same with 46 as well. None of these teams really managed to get into the circle after this sort of firefight. There was just too much damage on all the players there, but TRD just pushing in and making quick work of the players there, and RBK going to be coming under fire. This was a really nice fight from these 2 teams.
Yeah, I like this. It wasn't a favorable position by any means from IK, but they managed to wrap around and really put RBK under fire. But then the answer from RBK here was even more impressive because you can see Hoger goes out there. They send 1 member forward, but RBK just said, that's fine, we're going to get the cover fire, we're going to make it happen, and they ended up down in that 3rd place position here. Hackshot really training his sights on him. and putting him under fire here. But this is where Zero kind of pushes very far forward into LTK and ends up giving his life. And it's very rare that we see TRD lose a member.
But I mean, it was all about that information play, and they actually got a lot of the information they needed, and that was his part in that sort of 3 or even 4-part sort of informational sort of play by them. And then you see Hixu taking up the sort of more central position for his team inside the circle, and he's able to sort of secure the kills on LTK as LTK decide to try and push in. And it was a really nice victory by them once again. I mean, 13 kills, really well played.
2 chicken dinners. We're not even on Erangel yet, man.
Yeah, and I mean, if they... What if they got 4 kills, 4 wins rather?
Well, we haven't seen it happen so far in the tournament. I mean, like I think there's only been, what was it? Not Nox, but AXT had 2 chicken dinners, and that was the most we've seen in a single day. So far that record is going to be matched by TRD here, and I would not be surprised to see them take at least 1 more. Honestly, it seems like there's very few teams that can challenge them. One of the few that we did see was LTK in that situation. I think AM were a little bit in over their heads in that early fight. But we have seen AM do well specifically on those Pachinki fights. So once we get into Erangel, maybe that changes a little bit. But if it doesn't, I am afraid for anybody going up against this TRD squad.
I mean, if we have to name a favorite to be able to make it all the way through, I think we're going to be seeing TRD all the way through this whole competition.
Oh boy! So they're not first place just yet, but they will be very, very close to it. That is pretty impressive. With 2 games still in hand, to be within, oh man, like just under 40.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So I don't know if that's actually quite right on
That might not actually be fully updated because they were in second before. So we'll see if that actually changes over the course of it.
No, those points aren't quite correct at the moment.
Okay.
So we will come back to it because they were actually in second place, and if they'd won that game, then yeah. Either way, we should actually see them push up because they have 43 points on top of that. So
no, you're right. Yeah, if that's the last game point, so we will see that updated. And it looks like some of these maybe aren't 100% through as well from the last one.
Yeah, let's not even talk about these. I really want to talk about TRDs, and I've been trying to pick up on it, but the way they played that last circle was so tactical, and it's so much beyond like any of the other teams. They drove in with the car, 2 different cars in a few different positions. They played the information play. They knew there were 3 members left on LTK. They pushed in with 1 player holding up the sort of wide angle, and then they had Hackshot, who was a bit of a sacrificial lamb, quite close to the blue and quite able to sort of take the sort of early fights as LTK tried to push inside the circle. He knocked 1, he got down and out, and then the other 2 members were able to finish off thanks to that information.
Yeah, and that's honestly one of the big things that separates them. Like we've talked about the different tactics and the way that they employ, a nice little mix of them, but also just individually able to find those shots, find those fights. When we spectate them, when we see the aim down sights especially, like it is just so apparent how good these guys actually are. And honestly, that's what's so scary about it is they find the shots they need over and over again. And once again, no surprise to see that the kill leaders, TRD occupying 3 of their members in the top 4. And even their last one, well, I doubt he's too far behind in there. And he's not in the top 10 this time, but that's very rare to even see. Do want to call out some credit. Mojram did a pretty good job with those 2 kills himself. RBK, one of their members, and got 2 more, and the rest of them still involved. Here's our head-to-head, though. This is going to be RBK versus the Real Deal, first place and third place team. And it is a big difference in skill. You can tell that just from the kills and the damage alone. But RBK put up, I think, their best performance yet.
Yeah, I mean, they played very well, and it was on Vikendi, and I did call it out that we should be seeing a better performance. And if you just even have a look at this, Hackshot has pretty much double the amount of damage of RBK here, even with only double the kills.
100% more headshots, too.
Yeah, I mean, 100% on that front. And, I mean, you can see this RBK did a lot more sort of rotations because the distance is about 1.5K more.
Circle favored TRD for sure, but they also played well, too, at making sure they got to the center as much as they possibly could. Here's Death Zone as well. He actually moved a little bit more than his counterpart on RBK. And honestly, this was probably one of the worst performances from Death Zone, but it's not saying much because they're always playing extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, even if one of their players has a weaker moment, he's actually usually just propping up his opponents. And, I mean, RBK, once again, just like a weak performance from one of these players. And you can see Zero doing 980 damage with 4 kills and only 4.9k distance traveled. Really well played by those guys. It's fantastic. And then you have the MVP of the game.
Hixu for sure. Getting those 6 kills, helping a damage, a couple of headshots to boot as well. You sure that guy wasn't the one with the AWM?
I don't actually think, I think Zero actually dropped it off and I think someone else picked it up, but they did actually have an M24, so we'll have to double check on that front, but really well played by them, and although Hixu got the most kills, he didn't get the most damage. I think that was actually Zero who got 980.
Yeah, he was mopping up for sure, Hixu was. I mean, we saw that happen with the RBK members. He came in there and actually finished the fight off, and I do think it's pretty interesting. We're seeing like a couple of designated, like, almost want to say janitors, where they're basically just cleaning up the last couple members. LPI actually managed to do a decent job of getting that themselves, and they snuck into a once more decent position. So that's another team, despite the fact that they do tend to like hide off to the side. They're actually finding a couple of those picks.
Definitely. I mean, there's so much information gathered on here. I mean, people need to make sure they keep up to date.
And if you want to keep up to date, the easiest way to do that is go to our website, of course. It is clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all the information, including rosters and standings. Now, of course, if you also want to catch all that stuff live, you're watching our channel, but you can catch everything for the PUBG Mobile Club Open over on our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/PUBGMobileEsports. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. And, of course, ding-dong the notification bell so you don't miss a single minute of PUBG Mobile action.
Interesting times. I mean, there's so much action going on, and if you guys want to go and watch a really good games, go watch the games from last week on Sunday and watch 70 Reef. They're fantastic.
But also
games.
day one as well. Friday last week we saw some really impressive performances still out of TRD and also 7 Reef team. But we've got a few more maps going forward. However, it isn't all about the serious competition. A little bit of fun and games, and as we go off to break, we're going to be celebrating some of the funnier moments in the PUBG Mobile Club Open.
So stick around and watch them. Blame them here,
I mean, they've got 3. Okay, now they just lose 2. This is it. That's going to be the wipe. And yeah, Air Madness.
And that's Clown.
Oh, he's just watching the zone tick, man. I love it. But LND, how about that play?
Gotta give it to them, but
L careful there. Lanchin wrapping around the side. He sees them. They don't see him at all. He gets the double knock, the double kill.
This time round that they get some kills.
Oh no. Always a good idea. 963. Oh man, they're going far up off the map. We've got liftoff, ladies and gentlemen. What a swag play by LD Rans as they look for the fire down onto 69 SWAT, who have no idea where. Are they going to go for the gentleman's thing and just not actually take it?
They're going to punch him.
Oh, okay. Well, that just feels bad. Move the camera away. Like that Simpsons meme. Stop, he's already dead.
What is this for? Oh, brilliant. They're just done.
KA actually getting lit up here. Falastine was able to get one knocked out of the car.
Pretty good, and he's going to be able to get the...
Puts him under his tomb, getting another kill, still alive, down to 3 members, down to 3 teams, I should say, and now Sheriff is taken out of this one. Tomb is an absolute madman, he's clutching it.
What is going on? He's...
Don't mind me.
Hey guys, how you doing? What are you up to?
It's good PUBG.
In the competition right now, playing for 2.5 million.
Good stuff. Yeah. Get that reference? You a fool by me. Cool. Go play Resident Evil, dude. Oh, nice! That nade on the...
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
PUBG Mobile for free.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. I am still Pirate Titans. He is still Wee Freeman, or if you prefer, Tom Pickering, and we are getting ready to get into Game 3. It will be the first of our back-to-back Erangel match, but TRD are running the roost, man. That is 26 kills over 2 maps, 2 chicken dinners. Can they be stopped, Tom?
I don't know. We may well not only be seeing back-to-back Erangel, but also back-to-back TRD wins. And if we do, boy, that's going to be putting them far in the lead.
If they do 4 for 4, honestly, yes, we talked about how the standings didn't look like they were 100% updated on that one, so we'll see if that changes at the end of this. But, man, they're just such a good team. Like, and I think 7 Reef team, probably one of the better teams able to challenge them.
Definitely, yeah.
But they have, like, maybe 1 or 2, like, really clutch players. TRD are nothing but clutch. Over and over again, we've seen this.
Yeah, and I mean, so 7 Reef and TRD, one of the main things they've got in sort of similar is actually their tactics are really both good on how they actually position themselves and how they actually get into the right position. We were discussing it in the break, how TRD, like, are they just getting favored by the circle each time? Well, I mean, the circle wasn't actually too far off them on there, but they did go in for rotator rounds, and then they had to push into the last circle as well.
Right.
And they should have been shut out of that circle by LTK, but LTK were too busy. I don't know. They're just playing around.
Yeah, and I'm looking back at my notes because we last saw Erangel and TRD in day number 1 when they played up against Group A, and that was actually some of the worst placements. If I'm reading my notes correctly, for TRD, they got a 3rd place finish, and then they had a 5th place finish, which was actually their lowest.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't expect it to go like that today because they have just been absolutely on fire. And this is a team that they definitely seem to have really leveled up, even beyond what we saw from them on day number 1. So this is why we're talking so heavily about how they are one of the favorites. But some pleasant surprises in that round. LTK really got it back together after a really disastrous first round on Sanhok. So they're still in the running here to make a dent in it. They ended 2nd place. Really good Admiral performance over the side of TRD. And also RBK, a team that really came out of nowhere. I mean, that's 2 for 2 on good Vikendi games. We haven't seen them perform on any other maps, but that is a positive note for them.
Yeah, and maybe they can actually turn it around on Erangel. They've had a bit of practice against these teams. They should actually have a bit of an idea of what's going on, and they can get a bit of a feel as to how to play and how to avoid TRD.
And what other teams have you really got your eye on right now? Like, we saw a lot of teams kind of shake up in the standings in that last map. Who are you looking to kind of bounce back on Erangel?
I think it's going to be AM. They've had terrible performances.
They've got to stop fighting against TRD early.
Yeah, definitely on that front. I mean, they faced against TRD way too early and had no equipment.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Now, of course, if you are missing any of that action, you want to get a catch up on maybe where the standings are standing, or, of course, taking a look at all the teams and the rosters for them, you can head over to our website at clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all that information, up-to-date standings as well for all of the regions, not just for MEA, so you can keep an eye on all of your favorite teams and players.
I mean, it's fairly easy to do, and I mean, obviously, if it's the fact that you want to play PUBG Mobile and you want to know how to play, and you want to check out how TRD are doing, there's certain places you can go check out.
Yeah, some of the best players, of course. You can check out our YouTube channel is youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE Make sure to smash that subscribe button so you will be notified every time it goes live. Of course, also ding-dong that notification button to make sure you don't miss a single minute. All of the regions playing up against the same time. We obviously have EU going on at the same time as us, so, get those dual monitors going. You can catch it all at the same time.
During streams, you got to do it, and I mean, with YouTube's fantastic quality control, you can definitely do that. I know the usual way is actually Twitch, but I mean, mobile definitely favors YouTube, and it's been interesting to see the sort of feedback and how like YouTube's being used for this. I think the performance on like the quality has been really great from obviously Starladder, who are hosting this, so it's been really good, and obviously.
I've had a great tournament so far. Have you, Tom?
So have I. And,
funny enough.
It's been amazing, and to be able to see these guys fight over $2.5 million is incredible.
It really is. I mean, it's an insane prize pool for sure, and this is why we are seeing such standout performances from teams, not just in our region here in the Middle East, but also around the world. So many, and even in the wild card we see earlier today, which encompasses teams from all over the place, places like Australia, covering on Africa and a lot of the rest of the world that isn't in its own specific region. So it's awesome to see how truly global PUBG Mobile is.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the big things about PUBG Mobile is that it's obviously just starting out, and even on the first day, a couple of us were getting messages from teams like, okay, hey, who's the favorite team? Who should we be?
We definitely see some of these guys probably signed by big squads by the end of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, by the sort of regional split off, we are going to be seeing a couple of these teams signed off, and if we don't see TRD sign off, I'd be very surprised.
I would too. I mean, Seven Reef Team I think is another one, but those are definitely my two favorites coming out. So when when those groups really match up against one another again, that'll be really awesome. Of course, this is only day 1 of the second week of groups. Day 4 in total. After this group stage finishes up, we have 32 teams now here in the MEA region. We will end up moving down into 24 for the semifinals over the next 2 weeks, and then after that, we have a whole month of regional finals for all of the different regions before it moves into that final 16. There's only one team from our region that will be represented. That's that big global finals. Yeah. But whoever it is, man, and assuming it's TRD, that is not going to be an easy ride for any of the teams involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because so many teams could actually just come out of the blue. They could actually have a lot of training. I'd be very surprised if TRD didn't have a coach. I do know there's a couple of NA teams who are coached by sort of ex-PUBG PC players who then have the sort of advanced knowledge of as to how to play PUBG as a competitive
enough of a crossover for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I mean, I've said it before. Like this game is a very much a mirror of like PUBG on the PC, and that's just so incredible. It's on mobile. It's insane. So maybe we can get some sound for this as well. I mean, we've obviously got the plane going down across Yasnaya and also Pachinki, so it's going to enable these two positions that we are going to be seeing in favor. I'm not quite sure who we are. It's actually going to be IK dropping, I think, over towards Severny maybe, or over to Yasnaya. I think it's going to be Severny. I think Headshot may well go over to Yaz, and then TRD will drop over towards Pachinki, maybe joined by AM. But it's all going all the way down to military base, so I imagine we will see a couple of teams go down there too. But
bit of a split drop there for TRD.
They dropped it a bit early. Are they going to be going away from Pachinki? Are they giving up?
They're heading to school.
Well,
or maybe to Rossock, actually. We'll have to see. Keep an eye on where that is, but also LTK, take a look that they're going to be one of the only teams splitting off towards the east, so we'll see if they drop in a Mansion or maybe Lipovka. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is going to drop a little bit further to the south. A couple teams, AM included, look to contest Pachinki, as SWAT 69 might actually be going east over to Milta. And LND are the only team to drop south of the mainland, but they won't be going to the island. Instead, they're going to be heading towards Ferry Pier.
I mean, Ferry Pier is a really decent place to be able to loot, and it also allows you to...
Oh, there's LPI. Of course LPI dropped military base. They don't ever want to see anyone.
They want to go dance all over the military base.
The Dance Pirates, yeah, that's our new name for them for sure.
DPs, and the circle is going to drop in, and it is actually going to be focusing on the mainland, so the military circle is not going to be included in the following one.
Well, I'm sad.
And there's actually a firefight going to be coming out early, and unfortunately it's going to be
TRD
UN.
and UN. I think UN did not realize that they dropped in a bad spot, maybe expecting TRD to be owning Pachinki instead, be nice and safe at school, but the answer is no. Looks like school might be out for them.
I mean, if UN, I mean, this is actually apartments right next to school. School is quite close. This is actually a really interesting place to be able to loot. If I was UN right now, I'd be like, come on. You've been dropping in Pachinki every single Erangel game. Why are you doing this to us? Now we have to fight you guys, and more than likely going to lose.
Yeah, Hunter's already down, so Master's actually going to chuck a smoke out here as they try to get in. Bonemer's actually going to breach into the house and be able to get him back up off of his feet, but it's a dangerous proposition. While the sights of TRD are going to be trained on them over here at these apartments.
Yeah, I do hope TRD don't get to one-channel focus and just go in for the frags. They do need to make sure they are doing a bit of looting so they don't fall behind on that, which is exactly what happened to AM last game. And we're going to switch on over to Rozhok, if I'm right in saying here.
SWAT 69 kind of have it all to themselves.
Yeah, they're going to be able to loot up, and then Watertown for MBZ. They do like these sort of places where people don't go, and I don't think we really saw... We didn't actually see many teams go here before. They did get contested here, one of the maps, if I remember correctly.
MBZ don't mind doing long rotations, especially on a map like Erangel, and they do need to pick up a lot more positional points than last time, because remember, they got knocked out in 11th place on Vikendi. Really unfortunate as they tried to go in as a third party in a fight and lost out huge as the blue was encroaching on them.
Am I right in saying that N999 wasn't in the last game?
No, I don't believe so. So they have swapped in and out.
That's good, though, because I actually do think he's probably one of their better players. So it's good to see him back in here. He's done some really interesting plays. And so Kevin is busy looting up here. This is really important that they do have one player that is just sort of focused on being able to make sure he has healthy loot. And he's now going to go to the bottom of this building. UN are gathering into one main focused area. TRD, have they only got 3 players?
Don't see the 4th on, so until we shift the focus, we won't know. But meanwhile, Zero does get a headshot onto Hunter, knocking him down. Taking a look at MBZ here. So the shots aren't really coming very quickly, but now they're back to it. Let's take a look at Zero's vision here over in these apartments.
Yeah, so they do need to play a little bit aggressive against these guys, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Bonemer taken down to half his health bar, has to rejoin up with his teamates. Should look to pop a bandage. pretty soon. Hunter's going to need to be applying a couple of them, but he's got to be careful. 0, they're coming up for the breach, and he had no time to finish the heal off, and Hunter getting knocked once again, but Hackshot takes a lot of damage as well as he's forced to drop back down once again. Meanwhile, runs into Zeus, who is right behind him here, but he sidesteps behind the wall really well. TRD still owning it here.
Somehow they're still alive. So many of them on low HP. This is incredible, the fact that they're still surviving, and they might be able to go into the wipe. But Zeus is going to knock 1-0, going to take him down now, and now it's going to be a 1v3 situation.
It's just Bonemer. He's the only one on his feet right now, and he's not full health either. Master and Zeus both knocked. Hunter's going to get taken down completely. Looks to prime a nade here.
Yeah, so the revive is going to come up here because it's actually going to be Hackshot, the only one surviving at the moment. This is really bad news if he's not careful. They could actually see themselves going out very early on, and Hixu is going to get finished off here, so they're going to be very early on, down to 3 members.
Yeah, no, this just hasn't happened for TRD at all here, but if they get the finisher off the Bonemer, they actually do have a chance to fully recover. Oh, and it looks like Hackshot went the wrong direction. He got jebaited, gets the finishing blow, but he doesn't manage to survive through that, so UN actually managing to take out not 1, but 2 members of TRD. This is the worst we've seen them play, just because they usually get the chicken dinner.
Very disappointed, but somewhere else it's going to be LTK having a disappointing moment here as 46 are going to be looking to finish.
What is going on? This is topsy-turvy day right here, Tom, because all these teams that were in the first, second, third positions last time around on Vikendi and on Sanhok, they're finding themselves heavily under fire here, although LTK will answer back in kind to the Luke 46 members. Looks like Red Bull is going to finally bleed out. So
a single grenade could kill these guys. If Slum has a grenade, then good night, Sweet Princes 46.
Well, let's see if they're going to get close enough to prime it here as they're fighting across the road.
Oh, no, he's
Heavy
got
fire.
them.
They've got it all! What a wipe there for LTK, and they blow the car for good measure.
Covering up their bodies, covering up the war crime, and now it's going to be back on the focus of TRD versus UN. Both teams are suffering heavily losses here.
2v2 now. Everyone's back on their feet, but really surprising that TRD lost out so heavily to UN here in this second round, and they're showing that they will not go quietly into the night. Meanwhile, we check back in with Headhunters. They're pretty far out on the military island base.
Yeah, over towards Novo. They've actually been landing here quite often. It has suffered. They have suffered from a couple of teams pushing them against them a few times. I think it was Snap, and because Snap aren't here, they are allowed to have it all by themselves, and LND going to be able to loot up fairly safe here as well. Just outside the circle, if I'm right in saying, so they are going to have to push up, which should be fine.
Yeah, I think LND are going to want to be playing a little more positional too, running into a little bit of trouble last time around, and
it's going to be 0 that gets knocked down by a grenade there from the UN players. So that's a bit unfortunate. It seems like they are going to be suffering a potential loss if they're not careful, and Bonemer are going to be pushing in.
UN is very impressive, especially on Bonemer's side, because he was down to a final 1, and you know, unfortunate look for one of the TRD members as he went in on that breach. But this is going to give the chance here for UN to possibly do what no other team has been able to today and wipe out TRD. Going in, looking for that bait, the pre-fire there. It's going to be 0, and Kevin does get the knockdown, so it's only going to be Master here as he runs in for his teammate. He gets knocked as well. So TRD managed to come up ahead, but they are severely wounded here.
I don't think that was worth it. I really do not think it was worth it for them to be able to go into this firefight, lose 2 members, and now be... Sure, they've got 4 extra kills, but that's nothing. Like, the 4 kills literally doesn't do anything for them in the long haul. What really matters is that positioning, trying to get that chicken dinner. And because they've actually gone in for this fight very early on, they suffered very much like AM did. And now they're going to be down to 2 players.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the TRD members going forward here. And now if they could still pull out the impossible, that would be pretty impressive stuff going in for the next round. And this definitely looks like it is an open chance for other teams to start taking out, you know, and getting themselves into a better position. We're watching on to RBK. Speaking of teams that got good positions last time around, trying to do it again here on Erangel.
Yeah, I want to have a look at AM soon because I want to see how weakened, if they're weakened down at all. Because we've got LTK who are weakened down to 2 members, if I remember correctly, and then obviously TRD are as well. So if AM are weakened down, then that's the sort of top 3 teams I would say so far today are sort of weakened down. So we'll have to see that in a moment. I mean, JS have also been a really strong team today.
Surprisingly, too, because they didn't look all that great in their first day of play, but they've seemed to have leveled up quite a decent bit. It was a quieter Vikendi round from them than it was on Sanhok. However, we could see that change again as they have a nice split out here. Still on the...
It's going to be over towards Crates, and RBK, one of the teams that we mentioned, they need to be able to actually perform on Erangel. They've performed on Vikendi and also a little bit on... actually, no, they didn't actually perform at all on Sanhok. They got wiped by MBZ.
Ooh, AWN dropping down.
Yeah.
With a level 3 helmet and vest as well. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's right next to the shooting range. I don't think there's really many teams, if any, who are going to be able to get that. Oh, Headhunters, don't run over your own teammates. And they're going to be running through the blue, but they're going to be facing fire.
Yeah, looks like SWAT 69 managed to catch him out on that rotation and blow him away from the car. So Headhunter's in a lot of trouble, but Mohawk does get dropped down in the crossfire. Meanwhile, Dr. Savage is going to still keep this car driving, but he actually forced to pop out of it as he parks it a little awkwardly, running up through the blue once again. Desperation setting in for Headhunters as they try to get into the safe zone.
Yeah, and I mean, we've kind of been waiting for SWAT 69 to actually perform, because today it's just been disappointment after disappointment from them. And then Headhunters are looking to try and confirm that. They are going to be able to pick up their teammate here.
Mr. Relax getting rezzed up by Dr. Savage here. We'll see what Groza and the rest of SWAT 69 can get done as they are found inside this compound on the safe side here. All they have to do is wait in the gas station. But if Headhunters do get the rush in, the Bay Pier is on the outside of it as well, still on the bridge.
Yeah, I don't think they can really wait here because they have no advantage over these guys, apart from Dr. Strange and also Mr.
I didn't know this was the Avengers.
I had to bring in that reference somehow without doing any
This
spoilers.
was the only way, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Looks into all, God knows how many billions of options, and Doctor will be in the house. And look at this. They are actually going to be able to get this. So this is the package
Ooh,
for
IK.
AWM.
Yeah, so Hoger's going to be able to find it, and he's been one of the better players on the IK side. Meanwhile, let's check in with the mini-map, because that's open the northwest side over by shooting range. Meanwhile, School still right on the center there, where TRD have a couple of members, but AM are actually moving, and you can see B52 on the mini-map pinpoint there. Down on the south side, that's where SWAT 69 and Headhunters fighting it out. LTK a little bit further to the east outside of Mansion. So everyone will be coming in and meeting up with one another, but looks like we are in for one of those matches that will be a little bit of a slower one here. So SWAT 69 moving away from the gas station, packing it up. As they drive away in the cop car, going to be picking up Dabby as they go.
They keep trying to run each other over. Luckily, they are quite fast and speedy at being able to jump inside the car. And guys, I'm just going to mention, like, this is one of the huge benefits of PUBG Mobile. You can get all these crazy, awesome skins, which can be quite fun. And we obviously see a lot of, like, the emotes used, which is pretty cool. But the rotation is going to be coming out from these guys, and TRD is still alive right now, but Zero is still low on HP. So it seems like looting is still quite relevant for them, because it seems like they're low on meds here.
Yeah.
RBK still alive as well. It doesn't seem like they've really had to move too far there.
They got a safe position right now. Only one vehicle, though, and it's a buggy, too. So if anything, maybe they want another.
Yeah, I think they probably have one hidden away there, I'd imagine, for them to have been able to get in that position. LP though.
Oh, they found SWAT. Look at that. So much hefty damage to get him downed. And now they can easily take their time to finish him out. LPI have actually played a lot better in these firefights today than we saw from them in previous weeks. Well, finishing blow.
Do you want to know what that is, though? It's because they've actually been doing a lot of dancing.
Yeah, they're leveling up every time.
Exactly, yeah, but I mean, JS have actually returned fine, knocked down Araz, and now they're going to be running away. They want to run like Forest, and that's exactly what's going to happen, but unfortunately, another one does get knocked, it seems. Oh, no, that was actually a finish onto SWAT, and JS is going to be down a member. Araz is going to get picked up. Actually, he was actually just healing up, so it's not too bad. These guys doing fantastic so far today, and then we're going to be seeing SWAT 69. Funny enough, SWAT 69 in a cop car. Okay, quite ironic. They're going to be able to take over this Wizard Tower, or well, yeah, that's pretty much the name of it. It's a bit of a funny one.
Just you can call it Wizard Tower. That's fine.
It's not upside down wizard hat. That's pretty much
PUBG Mobile terminology, ladies and gentlemen. We do see L&D moving into School as well, so that could be trouble for TRD as they're still down to those two members. But look at where everyone's concentrating here, just between Pachinki and School. In this next circle, look at the open area.
No one's in it apart from Headhunters. They're literally the only ones in right now, and everyone's going to have to move here pretty much. Even Headhunters, if they want to get a favorable position.
They were dead to rights, too. Headhunters were, but the circle moving kind of forced SWAT 69 to give up their positioning, which meant that Headhunters could actually just make a break for it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how RBK do go in for this rotation against these guys, because I think the wheels on their buggy were broken, so they will be down to the last vehicle, which is a Dacia behind one of the buildings. So Yasner is in play, part of the apartments is, and we're going to be seeing a lot of teams playing around these hillsides. There's a couple of compounds we will see them playing. RBK trying to shoot up towards SWAT 69, but they have now gone, so they should be jumping into this vehicle and moving onwards and over.
Yeah, they're going to have to give it up for sure. So there should be a lot of movement. All the teams rotating around for a little while here. Still 11 squads left alive. That's 36 players translating, because definitely not all of them are healthy. Two members of RBK popped into the car, and it looks like H-Mode's going to be joining them in a minute. L&D looking to breach into School, and you can see TRD have given up some ground here because they know the odds don't favor them fighting in a 2v4 situation. However, L&D are all in one car here, and I don't know if they know TRD are in the area.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine because the exit they're going to is actually away from TRD.
Far side.
Which is fortunate for them because I think TRD would have absolutely obliterated them in that situation. SWAT 69 have pushed over, and they're in actually quite a strong compound here because it's walled off in a lot of ways, so it allows them to be able to fight against any teams that push against them. AM as well got one of the few compounds here in quite a strong position. LND going in for the rotate, so with JS in a buggy, so it's actually going to be quite open, and we might see LND do a bit of a drive-by if they can catch up to them. The buggy
only on Erangel, man. Let's see as they run right on by and start opening up the heavy fire. Man, JS cannot catch a break today. Faker opens it up, and they get the finishing blows onto Mehmet. And the rest of JS rip. Well, yeah, RIP for sure. So that is going to be the elimination out in 11th place, JS.
That was really well played by LND. I mean, to be fair, it shouldn't have been them winning that fight, but it was, so GG, well played to them.
I think JS were a little bit low on members as well, though, because they were engaged in an earlier firefight. So
Yeah,
numbers just didn't favor them. Now LND are going to be taking cover behind their own car, but they got to be careful. That might blow. They're going to actually have to blow it themselves. Backing away, trying to get to a safe distance here as SWAT 69 are coming up on their tails.
Yeah, they need to chuck down a couple of these smokes, and unfortunately they're not going to be able to get away from this position just due to the sort of nature of this engagement. And we're going to be seeing SWAT 69 going for the nice sort of reposition. This might well be the start of something for SWAT 69.
Yeah, here's Ray wrapping around.
They've been a little bit lackluster, but he has now got a position on them. A couple of shots in there will take down both the members, as I say it.
Ray, what a play for the SWAT 69 member right there. Now Faker will open up fire, but he can't quite find his mark. Man, L&D all of a sudden in some huge trouble here. Faker's the only one left on his feet. Going to take the adrenaline as well.
I don't know, this may well be a bit of an overkill. That gives you full sort of stim then. He's going to go back and try and pick up his members, and they are going to be in the next circle, which is good for them. That's going to leave a lot of teams, TRD, LP, MBZ, LTK, and RBK, and even IK on the edge of this circle. But
Pros are getting dropped.
somehow Faker knocking a player. That's really
Yeah,
good.
L&D still having some teeth here. Faker doing a great job, and he will hide behind this blown Jeep to get both of his teammates up. So, L&D not out of this one just yet. About 69, though.
Yeah, Dabai is going to go in for the rotation here, exactly like what Ray did, and he may well just be able to knock them down. Faker has to be very careful and self-aware of where this vehicle is going right next to them.
Smoke's down. Gonna manage to get even more of that, though, so SWAT 69. There is one member wrapping around the backside here. It's Ray. He actually managed to get another knock on a Riot, and Faker realizing the trap is closing. TRD have driven right by as well.
And Dabai is just driving through, getting all the information, TRD, saying, you know what, don't need this. I'll let you guys fight this out, so that's fine. I mean, ideally for them, they want to hold a strong position, sort of central circle, and go in for those points in the position. There's still 10 teams left alive.
Yeah, there are.
Somehow these guys are actually up and fighting. Drugs is alive, and he's not knocked down.
It's a good job by Faker to really get his teammates back up and even managed to get a knock that really preoccupied SWAT 69. But Ray, man, that guy has absolutely had the dead eye today. Meanwhile, in all the chaos, TRD just drove right through the center of it. Didn't have anyone take a shot at him.
And I mean, I'm actually pretty impressed with how this happened. And look at that, LND going to be able to get this knock.
Dropped by Groza. Meanwhile, it's MBZ fighting it out against LTK, and they get wiped off the map. Are you kidding me? Out in 10th place is LTK, and where the hell did the MBZ Falcons come from?
Don't know, but it sure as hell wasn't going to be going out in at 10th position, which is exactly what happened to LTK. And so we're going to be seeing SWAT 69 coming under even more pressure from LND. The tables have turned. And TRD going to be getting that secured sort of central position in the sort of next circle. And now coming up behind SWAT 69 is
LP.
LP. The Dancing Pirates look at the dance on their grave.
Well, they got to make those graves first, but I don't know if SWAT 69 see him coming here. Hama on the point. You could see Corp not too far away as well. But they creep up on him, and all of a sudden the pincer might come through. It looks like Corp is actually going to get dropped first, but so is Ray. And he's the best fragger on that side. Hama taken down by Groza. It's just downs across the board. Hama does get finally finished off, and looks like LP might have bitten off a little bit more than they could chew, getting a little too big for their britches.
They do actually have better sort of meds and every sort of situation against these guys. They could actually go for this, especially with Groza going down.
Yeah, Daba's the only healthy member, but he's primed that nade.
Oh.
Let's see the positioning. Not quite close enough. Aras was right behind the tree, manages to use that for cover. Dabai throwing another one, and Aras trying to get a position on him, but the Molotov is down. Aras has to realize, oh dear, he might just drop down, and he does.
God, no, that's not good news at all. But Dabai is going to run away. He needs to be able to pick up Ray. If they could pick up Ray, it could be fantastic.
He's
but
taking
he's gonna
shots,
come under
though.
Fire.
Down to half health, trying to stutter stab. Zigzag, zigzag. Let's see if you can get out of there. He's got to get around to Ray.
Yeah, LND not leaving them to any piece at all. And we're going to be seeing LP potentially recover here. Aras is actually pushing forward, which I'd say is actually a bit of a mistake because they think that they're going to get engaged a bit earlier on, but no. Sport 69 have actually backed off here. They want to be able to recover. And this is actually really a sort of interesting position from LP. They haven't played over-aggressive in that sort of last moment. They didn't go full out. If they had done, L&D would have been able to take them out. And
this is great for L&D.
We're going to go into the next circle, and I think this will favor L&D and TRD. As I say that,
good call there, Tom.
Right on them. I have to give myself props. And they're actually in the only 2 compounds in this whole building. There is a bit of a ridge line next to AM above the hillside on TRD, but I don't think it's going to be enough to be able to help them. The LP, SWAT 69, they don't have any vehicles, if I'm right in saying, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that whole firefight actually proved really, really good for L&D because the pressure got taken off of them. Meanwhile, Headhunter's still around in the top 9 squads, so they're going to have to come through RBK if they want to keep on moving here. Dr. Savage on the front line. RBK not going to move at all, occupying this house. Good nade comes through, but not enough to really damage anybody. And RBK have been able to hold strong pretty well here. Dabai is going to get dropped down. MBZ Falcons have joined the fight once again.
Ray going to be the last member standing, but
not anymore.
MBZ coming in, swooping in once again, like the Hawks they are, being able to get those kills. And we're actually going to be seeing Headhunters now going to be able to jump into vehicles and drive on away.
Great recovery, though, for MBZ Falcons after that disastrous Vikendi match where they went out in 11th place. They're starting to stack up those kills. There's still plenty of time to drop out, but they're playing much better as a squad.
Yeah, and I mean, LP have to run across an open field. L&D going to have open firefight on MBZ.
There's actually 2 cars between the way, though, so only one of them really out in the open here as they go to rejoin their teammates. L&D can only fire a few shots. Few compounds, as you mentioned, available here in these final circles.
Yeah, and there's actually a package right next to AM, and Headhunters are looking to drive on right into them.
Oh, that's a lot of fire there. One gets dropped out. It's Dr. Savage, and it looks like they're going to run into each other on these cars. A little bit of disaster striking for the Headhunters members, but they are still all up and standing for now. Julius making a run for it up the hill. AM is just going to mow them down. Do they have enough shots to finish? Dr. Savage still there. Looks like Julius does get dropped down for a second.
So these guys are going to be able to park behind this hill, but they're going to be in a very difficult position, and their car might well explode if they're not careful. Bap jumps out.
He's on his knees again. This is disaster here for Headhunters as the car gets blown. It looks like he'll be bleeding out pretty soon. Meanwhile, Issa gets taken down by H-Mode from RBK, and the firefights are coming. You can see that alive counter dropping with every second that ticks away, down to 24 players remaining now. And even less as Julius and Mr. Relax get put in the ground. Zero TRD still finding some firefighting themselves. And MBZ Falcons moving around looking to finish off Butcher.
I mean, they're ready on, actually they're only on 4 kills. I thought they'd be on more, but nevertheless, we're going to be seeing LP still alive somehow in the corner of the map. They may well see them go down.
Is it just a Ross?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, well, the rest of his teammates are dead. They've only got 2 kills as well, so it's not looking so good. But IK, they are going to hold like a decent position here. They've got a little bit of cover for themselves with this hillside.
A couple of vehicles too, and those are at a premium right now.
Yeah, they really need to be able to, with these cars, it'd be interesting to see if any of them actually make use of them as hard cover in sort of a new age sort of fort, like a pillow fort, but with cars.
I'm going to quote that one, like a pillow fort, but with cars. Trying to hide under it all. Unfortunately, unlike pillows, cars explode.
Yeah, and RBK is going to be able to get a knock there. It's quite interesting. But MBC still standing with all their members alive right now, right next to AM.
I don't know if they see him, though. And here's a Ross, the last member standing of Light Pirates. And he may not be standing for long. That's a lot of damage as he inches away to the side. Under heavy fire from 2 fronts here, L&D. They find him in their sights, and I think this might be it. Ross does get taken down, and that will be it for the Light Pirates.
MBZ's driving tactics aren't so great, but this circle is going to be favoring that of L&D.
Headshot, B52 taken out of that one. It's going to be MBZ coming up strong here. However, they are losing members to AM on the opposite side. Meanwhile, Zero still finding a couple of shots here, and RBK engaged the melee firefight here with IK. And I don't know who's going to come out ahead here. It looks like it's actually going to be IK that come up with it. And there's just shots across the map here, down to 19 players alive. RBK, L&D, all of them finding these big fights, and Zero just keeps on lighting them up here.
Yeah, and somehow it's still alive right now, and they're looking to try and take down a couple of these members. RBK may be able to come out on top. Hugo has got level 3, but it's not going to be enough. The car explodes, he goes out, and that's RBK stay alive.
IK out in 6th place now, and it looks like the explosion coming up is going to do even more TRD, and L&D still finding the shots. MBZ running through the smoke, but they've got to be careful. The blue is at their backs, and AM are at their fronts. TRD still finding shots. It is Zero and Kevin that have man up inside this house. B52 down on his knees once again. Kevin using the cover very effectively as he primes a grenade. Got to throw it pretty quickly here. Zero does find Quiet on the down. B52 already on his knees. And it looks like he'll get finished off there.
And that's a wipe for AM. So somehow TRD have made it into the top 3 teams with only 2 members.
Of course they did.
MBZ are going to get knocked out as well. So TRD could easily just come second by default here. So now we're going to have to push. This is going to be a real sentiment to how good they are. But MBZ going to be pushing in. They may well just be able to take them out. We'll have to see what happens.
They're trying. It's a 3-on-2 situation right now. Will MBZ be able to get this breach through? But Kevin has actually managed to get outside the house here. Meanwhile, LND, one of the other last teams remaining, are finding heavy fire on their side. MBZ are losing members pretty quickly. They've already got 1 dead. It looks like 2 knocked as well, so it's only going to be UT Boom. And that's going to be it. They get knocked out in the 3rd place position. MBZ, a better round from them, but you got to think they were this 1v3.
1v3. I mean, the full advantage right now is on LND, but the next circle could really decide everything. But it has to hard shift up to 0. There's no other options for this. If it doesn't hard shift to him, then he has no chance. And if LND play it half decently, they should be able to spread out, get the frags on him, and play easy. And when they do go for the shots, they need to be peeking at the same time. And the
circle does not favor him. This might be it for TRD's win streak here. They've got 2 chicken dinners, but here on Erangel, LND might just look a little better. And all this comes back to that early firefight against UN that saw 2 members of TRD go out early.
If they had all 4 members, this would be a completely different game. I imagine we would have seen some more. So is Zero going to be playing the smart move and actually run into the circle, into the blue, and just die to that and deny them the point? Or is he actually going to try his best and give them the chance to have a
If he gets 2
lovely
kills,
victory?
it's worth, right?
Yeah.
Because at this point, either he goes out without getting any kills and deny a point, or he gets taken down, gives a point over to LND, but then picks up 2 for himself, possibly.
Or he kills all of them.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, then all of a sudden you're like, well, this is insane. And this is the thing. This is the respect from LND. In a 1v3 situation, a lot of the times you would see this other team maybe making a move a little bit first, but LND, they're going to be taking their time about this one. They will have to move out of their compound, though, because while we talked about the circle favoring them, well, not quite before Zero has to move, but eventually they will have to get out of there, you'd think.
Yeah, and I mean, they actually have the full advantage here. Just in they have the numbers, they also have the sort of position, and they know where he is. He does know where they are, but there's also 3 of them, so they can split up very nicely. But he is a very good player. Probably one of the top members on his team. I'd probably say maybe sort of second, maybe after
12 kills even in this round, and half of those were picked up in those chaotic firefights
that's
earlier
insane.
on.
Like that is just insane.
He's got 9 himself. Look at this.
They need 1 kill. They need 1 kill.
And then they'll match their 13 again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Jeez, man, TRD are so good.
Oh no, he's almost in position. He could actually do this because they're gonna have to move out of the compound and they're gonna have 0 cover. He can hide on top of this hill and he can just scoop down on them. He's gonna have the information from the third sort of party information he can get from 3rd person. And these guys are...
They don't have exact positioning on TRD either, and it looks like Faker's going to be doing a bit of a dance himself. But, you know, that might prime him for a headshot.
Dancing competitions here.
Yeah, Zero's definitely not going to get baited by that. Oh, man, though. This is so tense in a 1v3 situation. We've seen clutches before with some sneaky snake action, but it's a little bit different. Nades are starting to come out, but Zero doesn't flinch.
Yeah, so he's actually going to be throwing his nade. I would actually like him to see him not do that. It's going to be a smoke, actually, sort of coming up this position. No, it was a nade, so he's actually expecting them to be a lot closer, but this is actually just going to be giving up his position, but that's fine.
Dear, another circle goes against him. Oh,
this
boy.
is just setting up the ultimate storyline here. He doesn't have a sniper, which is a bit unfortunate, because that would allow him to be able to potentially get some kill, sort of easy damage, but he goes in for the spray! Come on!
Drugs has already dropped down to half his health, but his position might be given away here. Zero just managing to hang in there after what looked like all hope would be lost for just about any other squad. But TRD still threatening, looking for that 3rd chicken dinner. If he can do it in a 1v3 clutch, man, what an impressive performance from the real deal. But L&D not keen to give that away. They want that chicken dinner themselves.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to shift around to the Ryan side to be able to get the ultimate sort of advantage here. But he is waiting. He wants them to be able to push out. And they're going to be potentially now going in for the peak. They should have an idea where he is. Riot trying to go into shot with that M24.
They do not want to leave the compound, though. This is the thing. L&D know that that's one of the only things that's stopping them from getting shot down. And Drugs already knew that happened. Zero, unfortunately, is going to have to creep forward into the blue. Slow as a like, as quiet as a mouse if he can. Faker moving out. Riot! Drop down to his knees! Zero knows this is his time! But he's going to get lit up, and that's it! Break out the drumsticks. It's chicken for LND.
What an impressive play from them. They do actually play this whole game with only 3 players, and they're able to survive all the way to the end with only getting 1 player knocked at the very end there who didn't die. So, you know what? I'll give it to them. 8 kills in total with 30 points to 38.
9 kills alone for Zero.
Oh
I mean, they get 12 between their 2 players that managed to live through most of the rounds, almost doing as well as their previous 2 games. And these guys are just so scary. That's the worst performance TRD have had today. That's insane.
That's scary. I mean, it's the first time they didn't get 13 kills, but they only got 12 kills, and they only got second place. So they literally went down a position in both the sort of specifics on that in kills and also positions. But I don't think they can complain.
No, it's really hard, honestly. So we do see the record of teams only getting 2 chicken dinners in a row still retaining its spot, but they will have another chance. The next Erangel's coming up after this. But, man, let's take a look at our highlight reel and see how it all went down. LND, I mean, this was the highlight I think that we all want to focus on because Faker was living a little longer than LP to get his dance on. But we see a lot more of this. This is the early fight where UN was really giving TRD a hard time here. Bonemer coming up pretty clutch for the team. And we started to wonder, would this be it for TRD as that peek around the side was in the wrong direction? Bonemer ends up leaving, vaulting out this building. But in the end of the day, TRD come up with the fight. Now we'll take a loot Loot 46. And this is where the car blows. You can see they blew it for good measure, but we didn't get to watch it on the after fact. It was just going to be that shot.
That was a decent nade coming out from these guys, actually knocking down 0. And they did push this, but unfortunately Kevin was a little bit too hard for them to muster. He gets 1 knock, and there's going to be the second push coming in from Marston. Unfortunately, he's just running the open. And that's going to be it from them. That's going to be an easy clap for them. And then we're going to be seeing the SWAT 69 taking on Headhunters as they push in here. Mr. Relax does go down.
Headhunters lasted a good time, all things considered, after this. And here we'll see LP just picking off the members of JS, who honestly had a bit of a bad round themselves. We saw LP doing a lot more. And here was the car fights with a drive-by from LND, and they just lit up the remaining members of JS who could not catch a break.
Yeah, and I mean, LND is doing such an impressive performance, even right here against JS. They're able to get the wipe on them with only Riot getting knocked. And he was funny enough, the guy to get knocked at the end there as well. And whilst Faker peeking out, saving his teammates, this has got to be the MVP here. Faker doing a fantastic job to be able to get his team the win by recovering them multiple times, and MBZ doing a great job there.
Yeah, how about that for MBZ? Really coming out of nowhere and impressively looking a lot better this time around. So here we go, Headhunters. They get themselves all through the vehicle. They kind of run into each other in confusion. Fortunately, nothing explodes there, but AM were really getting them on the high ground in this one, and this was a pretty impressive performance from them until they ended up getting knocked out of it.
Yeah, I mean, AM trying to do their best, but unfortunately they just didn't have the position in that game, and they're going to end up getting wiped by MBZ, I think, up to a point where I think Molotov might have been able to push, and he eventually got taken down by TRD, which we should see. Yeah,
we keep seeing random TRD kills, and Zero just finding those moments to get those extra shots, and this is why he got 9 for himself. And there was that last member of MBZ. He did manage to get Molotov taken out of there. So it was a very hectic fight between all the members. RBK once again lasting decently long, but unfortunately they end up going out here in 6th place. So while they've been placing decently on a couple of other maps like Vikendi, this is still some struggles continuing on Erangel.
Yeah, and they got a few kills here, but it's not really going to be enough to do too much. And Quiet going to be able to get a knock here. He does push down the hill, but unfortunately going to die. And then it's going to be Zero doing fantastic in this position. He gets a knock on Riot. Pit jumps up and is like, right, I'm going to push forward.
Yeah, I don't need to see the end of that. But still, he rocks the kill count, 9 to himself. Faker, as you mentioned, the MVP for LND comes in second with 4. And then MBZ have a couple of members as well, rocking those top spots, 4 for ET Script. And also Death Zone from TRD getting 3 kills for himself, even though he went out very early, actually. So that would have been all in that firefight with UN.
Yeah, and I mean, joint fifth position is RBK up there. But LND got their last 2 members in there as well, Riot and Drugs. And also LTK just sliding in there, and also one of the members from MBZ. So yeah, not too bad sort of showing from a lot of these players, but let's have a look at the TRD versus LND, and I mean, I think this is pretty much what we want to see. TRD being so far in all the head-to-head heads, and it's for a good reason. They even got more kills than these guys. They got more damage, but they didn't get... They only got 4 points difference on the match points.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing, right? Because if you get like 22 versus 30, but then the difference in kills really makes it all. And we see the breakdown here. This is actually Hixu, one of the ones who dropped really early on in this, and this is why you see such more impressive numbers out of Faker, who was lasting all the way to the end. But very rarely do we see TRD looking not as good by comparison in these head-to-heads.
Yeah, and I mean, Hixu last time got 6 kills in Vikendi and about 600 damage. Or 680, I think it was. So it's completely different. 9 Dane. Same for Hackshot as well. Drugs just doing a much better job here. 461 damage, 2 kills. Easy peasy. Hackshot did do 195, which really did set
Look at that distance traveled. Yeah, Hackshot, because he got dropped so early on, really didn't put a whole lot of distance in there.
It was a little bit lazy, to be honest.
Yeah, but still good movement all around from the remaining TRD members, and I think that was the impressive thing. We'll take a look at the remaining couple of guys left after this one, but here's this next head-to-head. Death Zone, who does go out, still gets 3 kills for himself. Meanwhile, Riot from LND puts up impressive numbers. Maybe not quite on the same level, but close.
Yeah, I mean, almost double the distance traveled as well from LND, so it's going to be pretty impressive. And I mean, TRD just doing a fantastic job to be able to rotate and get inside the circle, and then also fighting to be able to remain in the circle. You have to give credit there.
Here's Zero.
I mean, that's just so impressive. Needle.
And Needle didn't actually load in, so this is the most lopsided that we saw. I forgot that LND only had 3 players the whole time.
Yeah, which is just even more impressive. I mean, you have to think how hard they had to fight to remain a 3.
And they didn't lose anybody. That's the impressive thing as well, going up against TRD in that final fight. But
yeah, however
look
hard.
at Zero, man. This guy is the MVP of MVPs. I think you talk about clutch players. Everyone on that team has the ability to carry, but Zero, I mean, even on Vikendi, we saw him kind of sacrifice himself for like a really good like information gathering move for the rest of his team. But that time, he was the last man standing, and boy, did he look good.
Yeah, you have to give them mad props. They had 2 members for the majority of that game. They got 4 kills very early on, but sacrificed 2 members. But that does secure them some extra points, and you have to give them credit where credit's due. Would have been better to be able to see them with all members alive, but it was fantastic nonetheless.
Yeah, now, of course, if you're tuning in for the first time and just wondering who the heck these TRD guys are, well, you can go ahead and check out all the information on them, standings, as well as their full player roster over on our website at clubopen.pubgmobile.com. And you can, of course, find all that information for all the regions here at the Club Open. So if you're interested in matches beyond the ME region, you can find that stuff.
Yep, I mean, you have to use it. We use the website ourselves when we're doing some analysis and stuff, checking up on the data. I mean, TRD, absolutely crazy.
Not to mention schedule information, too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see the standings soon after the break, and that's going to be insane to see where everyone's sitting. But yeah, I mean, where else can they find this stuff?
Well, of course, you know, you guys are probably watching on YouTube, but you can also find all the information and all of the streams over at youtube.com/PUBGMobile Esports. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding-dong the notification bell to make sure you don't miss a single minute of PUBG Mobile action.
Brilliant.
Good
Just
stuff.
what you want to see.
All right, well, that is going to be it for our first map of Erangel. Our 4th and final map will be coming up just after this, so don't go anywhere. The PUBG Mobile Club Open will continue.
The zombie universe is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. We have got one more map for you tonight. I am still Pyrotechnics. He is still We Freeman, and TRD are still really freaking good. But they didn't get a third chicken dinner. It was LND that managed to take them out with only 3 players loading in. Impressive stuff from them, Tom.
Especially impressive from Faker. I mean, he was in a really difficult position.
He even squeezed in some sweet dance moves.
Yeah, exactly. He was memeing on TRD there, dancing behind the wall. But I mean, it was so impressive from Faker that he was in a really difficult position against SWAT 69 a bit earlier on. He managed to smoke across. He downed a member, smoked across, picked up his 2 members, who then survived all the way through the game. So impressive, and oh my god,
Here's
just
the
look
standings.
at this stuff.
First team to break 200 points. Of course, it's TRD, and the scary thing about this is they still have a game in hand. Other impressive performances, MBZ Falcons moving up into the 3rd place position.
Oh, wow.
LTK not too far behind them, so there's definitely some potential to turn things around there. Oh, man, this is good.
And I mean, Nox are only 1 point behind.
Look at AM, though, in
LTK.
8th place, too. I mean, they've been creeping up silently as well.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I've been a little bit disappointed in how they've been playing today, but we might see a little bit of a change. Maybe TRD don't drop in the same position.
You are hard to impress, aren't you, Tom?
Oh, I definitely am, but TRD...
If you ever have kids and they get like B's, you're just going to be like, no.
I'm not even going to comment on that one, but TRD still got another match here to potentially even sort of... I mean, if they stay on the same trend, they could be close to the 260 mark. It's
38
insane.
kills today,
Oh,
adding to make it a total of 74. By far the most kills of any team in this tournament in the MEA region. 20 more than what 7 Team are. We got to take a look at some of the other squads, though. Like, look at SWAT 69 is starting to move up a little bit into 13th place. Not looking too bad for them as LND after that chicken dinner get quite a lot of placement points and now are in the 14th place position. Remember, you only need to be top 24 in order to move on to the semifinals. So a lot of these teams are kind of putting themselves into a good position. They'll still have another day of play as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of teams here who may well not fully belong in the top, so may end up favoring a lot of the teams who need to get some of those easier kills, but we'll see. They may well be able to do some better sort of research and be able to favor themselves, and then we drop down to the last sort of...
Headhunter, 17th place.
Yeah, it's not too bad. They've sort of crept up there. They've obviously got one more game to try and secure that, but a lot of these teams have got very similar sort of position in regards to points. Obviously, on the 24th position is 56, which is different to the 82 points on Headhunters, which is close to almost 100 points behind TRD, or will be by the end of the day.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy when you think about it, how big a difference it is once you start getting into these bottom half of the standings. But, again, you only need to get top 24 to make it into the semifinals, and then you can reset. You can really get back into a good position. You'll still have 2 more weeks of play to try and qualify for the top 16 teams in the region. Really do like to see some impressive performances coming out of the likes of RBK and Just Survive. That's JS. They had a bit of an unlucky last round where teams were kind of picking on them, to be frank. But they did manage to still get a few extra points out, get into that 19th place position.
Just absolutely insane. So, I mean, what can we expect from this game? I mean, for me, I'm going to answer it first. I think TRD are going to drop on Pachinki, and I want to see them fight AM.
Yeah, it was surprising. They actually dropped school, and they kind of debated just about everybody there. You could see that the UN squad were like, wait, what the hell are they doing here? But then they actually managed to fight them down to 2 members, which was even more surprising. So I agree with you. I think Pachinki is definitely TRD's for the taking. Nobody actually dropped it directly this time around. You saw teams actually going very far out, even a couple heading down to the military island, and then they kind of paid for it later as they had to cross along the narrow stretch.
Yeah, I mean, AM eventually sort of rotated up over towards Pachinki, and then probably like, hang on a minute, we're at TRD, what's going on?
Yeah, why is it empty? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, because what they would have seen is in the kill feed, a bunch of people dying from TRD, and they were like, ooh, we're going to join in Pachinki, and then no one's there. They're like, okay, interesting. So it's going to be...
Missed the party invite.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if TRD want to go there, because I think one of the reasons why they didn't actually go to Pachinki is because AM have actually been a force to reckon with in Pachinki against them, especially in the other groups that we actually had VW there to help them fight against TRD. They actually pushed them out of Pachinki in one of the games. And they could go into UN, which would be an interesting sort of play, but let's jump right onto this game. So we're going to have the plane dropping down from Stalba all the way to Primorsk, open up actually the whole map for teams to be able to drop.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I wonder if anyone heads towards Yasnaya this time around, because we didn't really see it feature heavily in that last map of Erangel, so we'll see if that changes here. TRD are going to pop out nice and early, so they might be answering my question right there. As IK once again go up to Severny. This is the second time we've seen them drop to the north.
So I think TRD may well be trolling a little bit. I think they're just like trying to go in for those fights on different teams, be like, right, where are they going?
UN are back. UN are going to Rozhok as well. So they're just like, all right, guys, if we just go a little bit to the north, we can completely avoid TRD. MBZ are going to drop middle. It looks like AM are going to do the same.
Oh, no.
A couple of teams might head over to Pachinki, but TRD are alone on Yasnaya.
I don't know if they are alone. I think they might have a team underneath them.
Okay.
I think they might have been originally, but maybe I am wrong on that
Probably
side.
caught sight of them. They're just like, nope, let's go this way. But a lot of teams actually going westward, and a few are going to wait till the very end here. So Headhunters and LP once again dropping out, might be heading towards the military base like we saw last time around. And it's all going to be down to where the circle goes. LTK, they've dropped Severny as well. Interesting that a couple of teams go far to the north.
Yeah, and so AM are going to be dropping straight down into Pachinki. That's
Look at
gonna be good for them.
JS. They're way around there. And look at that. We got a military circle, Tom. I love it.
Potentially. We're going to have to
So
wait
far.
until, wait
So,
until the
look,
next one. Yeah.
Most of the map, most of the island is in the circle. Only Novo, and really just the east side of Novo is outside of it. I love this.
Oh, look at this, actually. So, Yaz, I was right. There is actually another team here, and it is going to be 46.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't think they want this fight.
Definitely is. Like, if you look at the skill levels between these two teams, unfortunately, TRD do just dominate over 46, but we haven't actually seen a ridiculous amount of plays from 46. Hackshot is the closest. He's currently just looting these priority buildings right now, and he's quite close to Alush and Hazam.
Let's see if he gets the outplay onto them. If the Loot 46 members recognize who they're up against. They might be able to gang up on Hackshot, though, because he is isolated for the time being with where the positions of the players are. And Hazim's actually up on the rooftop here. Alush is going to be on the ground. But they are aware there's another team in the area. So, as usual, we start the action with TRD.
Yeah, I mean, TLD have to be very careful because they went in a little bit underprepared last time, and now Hackshot is definitely underprepared. He should be fully aware that there's these team members, but he is completely outgunned right now. Even if he is a really good player, this is not a fight you take. If he does, then it means that they are just playing sloppy and they don't really care right now, in my opinion. We're going to have a look at LTK, who have actually taken dominance into Severny, but SWAT 69.
Opening up into RBK's members. Looks like that will be the first casualty. They actually managed to get one elimination, not even a down. Spot 69 on that high ground here.
Oh,
over on the ridge.
I don't even know how they've managed to get up into this hill. I'm fairly certain RBK must have been chased. And look, H-Mode, he's not even got any loot. SWAT 69 have been trolling them. They've been like driving around chasing them, it seems like, because most of them don't even have any loot.
That's a little crazy, to be honest. Just trying to play the mind games. It looks like SWAT 69 going to find another RBK member. And, you know, this is a rough start for RBK. They had a really, really good map in Vikendi where they managed to place third behind the likes of TRD and LTK, but they might be in some trouble this time around in Erangel Part 2.
I do appreciate the aggression coming out from SWAT 69. It worked out very good for them this time around. But now we're going to be seeing Zero rotating around. And this is what we tend to see from TRD. They play pretty well in sort of the tactical plays.
All right, TRD splitting up, but there's fire traded across the street, either side of Yasnaya.
That was a whole mag from Moomin, and he missed every single shot.
Yeah. Just seems like TRD are able to kind of stretch around bullets a little bit. They are really good at finding the cover and utilizing it to its fullest. Third-person perspective, of course, in this tournament, you can peek a little bit easier. Yeah. Now we check in on Pachinki, where AM occupying it. We've seen Butcher all 4 maps today. He wasn't involved in AM's other games earlier on, so he would have been subbed in. And here's L&D, the winners of the last round, the only non-TRD squad to do it.
And they do have their 4th player this time, Needle. He must have crashed or something happened to him last time, so it's good to be able to see them. And
I mean, they still got a chicken dinner without him, man. That's pretty impressive.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Faker was my MVP, but let's jump on back over to Yaz here. This is where one of the first sort of main fights is going to be going down between these two teams, 46 and TRD.
Far away from where the circle will be, but you got to think TRD are going to be forcing the play. That was a nade that went real high there. We won't see what happens with it. It looks like we're going to check in on Georgia Pool, where UN are finding themselves pretty much having the run of the town.
Yeah, and I think they're pretty happy with themselves. They've not been wiped from the face of the earth.
Here's your Dancing Pirates.
Dancing Pirates, and they're on military at Circle.
If you're wondering why we're calling them that, well, all you got to do is check back 2 games ago when they had a dance party in Vikendi for the longest time.
I do love the teams using the modes on here. It's quite amusing, especially Faker in that end part of the last game. And
A little cheeky.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Loot 46 are just like, you know what? So you guys can have Naya. It's fine. They're moving back.
I think they realized who it was when they kind of realized the plays that were happening. As soon as you realize that a team is playing like TRD were there, just walk away. Just don't even bother right then. Especially when you're sort of a team that needs to survive and that the frags aren't too important for you. Right now, TRD are just like, we pretty much made it. Like, we don't have to worry. We've qualified in the top 24, whatever happens. So that's one of the reasons why they've done this sort of drops, because they can drop wherever the hell they want, and they don't care.
Yeah, and honestly, they kind of just hones their skills in some of these early firefights as well. It's good practice. You can't always get that if you're just playing positional the entire time. So let's check in with some of our other squads here. A couple of cars coming by. It looks like, hard to read that through some of it. Looks like JS is going to be coming up here, but they might run into MBZ on foot and maybe get a little revenge for what happened last game when they got wiped off the map.
Yeah, that's MBZ all together. They're ready to take a couple of shots, but JS don't seem to be stopping, so MBZ are going to be having a bit of a harder time to be able to get those knocks, and we've got 2 AFK players here at the moment.
On different teams as well. They're standing right next to each other.
You know what? They're just having a peaceful time. I mean, Mr. Rabbit here on RBK, futuristic buddy rabbit, Easter rabbit.
I do love some of the skins that you can get in PUBG Mobile. Some really cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, LP here have got run of the gun on military. So this is really going to depend for them, because they should have played a little bit more aggressive towards taking a strong position before, like, across the bridge, well, on their side of the bridge, rather, so that when people go in for the rotations, they actually have the ability to be able to cut off their lifeline. They're not able to get across on that bridge. They have to go via foot, well, swim across the water or get a boat. But we're not going to see that. We're going to be seeing a little bit harder, and we're going to be seeing Spot 69 going for the rotation.
Yeah, got themselves the buggy. Just kind of opening up, looking for anybody caught out in the open here, but no one's going to be there. Here's our mini-map, and here's our next circle as well. It will continue to be on Military Island. Well, it's the same circle, rather. That's why it's still on Military Island.
I mean, it's very impressive when things are consistent. But
I know, right?
No.
TRD are going to have to make moves, though, because they're going to find the blue going up against them. UN are going to have to do the same. You can see LTK, they were all the way up to the north side on Severny, and they actually moved their way south as well. I am curious to see where the next circle does end up forming, because there's not actually a lot of land. Even those AFK members are actually quite safe right now.
I was going to say, but what's actually quite dangerous, I mentioned that sort of western bridge and how LP should have gone and sort of tried to protect it, but unfortunately a little bit too late. Now AM have made it onto Military Island via just driving across the bridge, which is not really heard of too often because it's such a dangerous area to go, and Hazam and his teammates still alive, but they're in the blue right now.
That they are. Moomin running through, and then there's the bridge. AM have found it, and they found nobody actually there guarding it either. So this is what you were talking about earlier. You wanted to see these teams that had occupied the island really holding out so they could stop other people from coming in onto their turf, but looks like that's not the case this time around, and another road trip does come through. This is
SWAT 69.
Yeah, SWAT 69. They will run up close to LND.
They are all in the same vehicle, though. That's
dangerous.
Debatable on how they should be going
debatable as well.
Oh, debatable, yeah. So this is actually quite an interesting compound because of the way the circle is. They do have easy access to potentially a couple of boats on the water there, and also being able to swim across. But TRD,
they're taking one car too. They had to pack everybody in, station wagon.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's partly because they just weren't able to find any other vehicles. And like SWAT 69, they did have a buggy as well, but they must have run out of fuel because they were using it from the very start. So I imagine that is the situation for them.
All right, well, we'll see soon enough where the next circle ends up forming. Pachinki still in play. And it looks like there's a firefight opened up between SWAT 69 and LND. And there's a lot of people crawling on their knees right now. SWAT 69 losing out on it as Faker lights up that doorway and gets a finishing blow onto a couple of members here. Really hard to get the reses up, and Needle is just laying down heavy fire as they go in for the breach here.
Yeah, and now he's got to be really careful because they have actually lost Faker from right there.
Yeah, Rosa 69. Rosa, he manages to get the down, so it looks like it's going to be LND that might have bitten off a bit more than they could chew. Rosa does finally fall, getting eliminated here. SWAT 69 wiped off the map, and LND only have Needle and Faker left.
Oh, you know what? They have got Faker. I was slightly wrong, and I thought he had actually been killed there, but no. Having Faker is great, and yeah, this circle definitely looks like it will be on military, but we have seen this one before. And
it's not a full military circle.
No, we have actually seen this land on the sort of the northern side of the circle, and that was where Reef from 70.
Yeah, that was that crazy one where he was just to the north side, like so a little west from Ferry Pier. Oh, and looks like RBK is going to find the free kill. I mean, that's not fair. He was just chilling.
Yeah, they just wanted to check up on their bunny, and they decided to take out his teammate, you know.
Who's your friend? Oh, well, he's gone now. MBZ are going to be holed up in this compound on the opposite side of UN. Now, all of them are healthy, but they do have a couple of players in cars. In fact, all of them now in to at least one vehicle, and they pop out. A little bit of fun there.
I'm not quite sure. I think they're trying to look for a vehicle with fuel in, or try and see which one has the most. So it looks like they will end up going in for this one UAZ, maybe. But they are actually coming under fire.
Loot 46, and this is... They're so far away, despite the fact that they actually left Yasnaya first. This feels bad.
Yeah, and it seems like they're very close to just being to dying here because they haven't got the full meds, and this is not what you want to be seeing. They've even got the vehicle to be able to rotate in, but they haven't really got the meds on a couple of players. They should be able to go in without dying to blue now. They're not too far away, but this is going to leave them very exposed when they do get in. But MBZ, what's happened here? UN have just messed them over.
And UN are actually creeping up. They're the ones that are currently not working well within the circle, but they are finding a couple of downs, using some cars as cover as well. That's M tier if he's going to be able to roll in. Finding another down, the finishing blow onto EU Script.
Yeah, so it's going to be an easy cleanup for them because they're not going to get contested against these guys. The rest of MBZ have rotated away from this area.
Oh, this is unfortunate for MBZ. I mean, they're going to just have to stand up with only a couple of members remaining. In fact, it might even only be one. It might be Kevlos that is kind of the last man standing here. But somehow, EUT Boom has not gone down. And now we see those boat strats that you're talking about. This is, I think, the last remaining member of RBK. It's H-Mode.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to get crosshair. There's obviously the other one, but he's just AFK on Primorsk. TRD still all 4 members. They have knocked Mehmet from JS. Tess is going to go and try and get him up, but TRD, they're hungry.
Always watch TRD over here at Ferry Pier. Now we will check back in with the LND fight. Up against the last remaining members of MBZ Falcons. Well, Kev, nade primed. Gonna just aim it out the window. Needs the angle.
That's it. That's
and
gotta
he's gotta
be
blow it. Wait for it. That's the dig. My goodness. And they get the finishers off. So that should be MBZ going out in 11th place. Another rough map for them. They've had a lot of inconsistency today, but one team that has not lacked consistency at all is TRD as they finish another squad off.
And Tess right now is a little bit worried because he's just going to be sitting on that rock.
Oh, Jay still have 2 left, yeah. Tess and SWAT. But TRD don't need to get the finishers. Not just yet. Here's the next circle coming in, and that one has a lot of water to work with. Look at RBK's last member, H-Mode, actually in a really good spot here. He's kind of isolated over in that alcove to the west of the island.
Yeah, so he should actually be able to climb up there, depending on the position he went into, but I think he might have run into the wrong one, so we will see. But 46 fighting against IK. This is an interesting one because IK do need the kills here, and it seems like they might be given that opportunity.
Yeah, 46 here. Gets a revive up. Oh, he has to move away at the last second, but he still manages to get a knockdown onto Rawan as they're up here in the attic. See if they can hold out for the time being. He's trying to get the res off, but unfortunately, the breach is coming through. The wraparound, he doesn't get there in time, and Moomin falls. That's going to be the end of Loot 46, out in 10th place.
And it's going to leave IK with 3 members alive at a few kills. Now UN finally going to rotate, but they're going to be taking a lot of damage, and they've got quite a big distance to cover here. Luckily, having that vehicle is going to work for it, but how much fuel has that car got? Because I'm fairly certain it was used by MBZ.
I love this. I'm on a boat! No one's coming for him.
Mother fluffer.
No, I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah. So H-Mode is going to jump out, and he's just going to climb up on here. Quite often, people refer to this sort of beachhead sort of as D-Day Beach, because quite often in the past when these circles have happened, teams are there to just mow you down as you try to get on there. So
luckily for H-Mode, there's nobody.
Yeah, TRD, have they finished off JS? No, there's still a test. They took down SWAT. They're just hunting.
Atessa's just kind of hiding in the rocks as well. Now, it looks like RBK is going to lose one of their members. That was, I think, the AFK player, actually.
Yeah,
so
it was. He was
it's just going to be H-Mode left. And I think at RBK, this is like the best thing you can do for them right now. But look at this wraparound from LND. Oh, boy, are we going to be in for a revenge firefight from last game?
Yeah, we are, and all members of TRD are alive, so it's going to be a 4 versus 2 situation here.
I don't like those odds for LND right now, but they don't seem too unhappy about taking it, although maybe they should be. Needle's already down to half his health bar.
Faker's stuck. He has to get in that car and drive away, and that may not be an option. Zero trying to catch up here.
Tessa's just watching this right now. He's popping some corn. Oh, dear. Faker. He's lit up.
Oh, that
has to hop the car. Needle laying down some cover fire here, but it's not enough. And look at Zero on the high ground. Looking to turn this one in. Needle is already going to get knocked. Faker's the last man standing.
And this is so unfortunate for them. Faker not going to be able to do too much here.
Yeah, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, and TRD can clean up house. LND might have gotten that chicken dinner, but they won't get much more. Headhunter, meanwhile, engaged in a fight against Light Pirates right now.
And this is over on the military island, so they're going to be fighting for this compound on part of it in LP, who are the guys who are originally on this island trying to take out the intruders.
Well, they're not known as much of a fighting team. They usually play for that positioning instead, but they have been doing a good job of picking people up here and there the last couple of games today. Hama looks to go around the side, but he doesn't manage to get the finisher onto Dr. Savage. Here's the Bape outside the building, and a wraparound comes through. Hama doesn't see him, but he gets mowed down anyways. And now Julius might be the last man standing for his own team as he does get Eris down. He's going to be able to get a res up, though, possibly. Finishing blow onto Eris, and it looks like this is a tense moment here for Headhunters.
Yeah,
Still, LP have a lot of members healthy.
Yeah, I mean, LP do have to be very careful here, because if they do get knocked down, it could be the end. They need to grenade the top. I'm not quite sure they... Oh, there we go.
Hama's holding it. Here's the wraparound. The res doesn't quite come in time, and Headhunters lose everybody out in 8th place, and LP not looking too shabby in those fights.
Yeah, they've got a couple of kills, and now UN have somehow made it to Ferry Pier, and they're going to be able to make it to a boat. Tess, maybe not IK, going to be coming under fire from TRD.
Yeah, it was a matter of time. They were going to get mowed down. TRD, they just don't miss after enough time. Zero managing to get the finish onto Barden. Looks like Krennic as well is going to go down. Rawan's still up. He's managed to find cover, but he's all by his lonesome right now. And Tess is still watching this from the rocks.
I mean, what do you do? They're just like, okay, this is by far the best team. What do we do? Hide. Just hide and run away. So they could actually still cross the bridge here, because I don't think AM are any longer holding that.
Yeah, AM have had to move for sure. IK does find it down onto Zero. Headshot coming in as well. That's Rawan.
And he needs to chuck those nades.
He really needs to go fast. Yeah, this is going to be enough time for him to crawl over and try and get the res up.
Oh, no.
Nade is going to come out. Is that going to cover enough distance, though, is the question.
Oh,
yes, it is.
my God.
Hackshot getting down by Rawan. So TRD finding that last remaining member of IK a little more stubborn as he tries to light up the last two members here of TRD. Kevin taking heavy fire, but not enough, and it looks like TRD have sacrificed a couple of their teammates. Hackshot now.
Rowan somehow getting a lot of damage done here, but we should be able to see these players cross, but they have to swim right now.
Kevin and Hicks, not sure what they're firing at right now. Oh, it's going to be the boat. Tess is going to get that one lit up, and he's forced to swim away.
Now Rowan is going to have to run in the open and should get taken down here by Hickshu.
Yep, there we go. And he should get fired down in just a minute, trying to dodge around, but finally he gets knocked, and he just gets taken out, actually. That boat's still up, and Hickshu will go swimming for it.
Yeah, and so this boat is going to be heavily useful for these guys. But unfortunately, I did mention D-Day Beach, and this is going to be a D-Day circle.
Oh, it really is set up. Look at HMO, though. He's got Pride Rock standing right now. He can just see everything. Everything the light touches is his kingdom, but he's not giving away his position to the UN members.
Oh, we need some Lion King stuff in this game. That'd be fantastic.
Savannah! There you go.
Cinema. There you go, on that front. But
you seemed so enthusiastic about that.
Just, a little bit drab. No, but you know what I'm excited about is exactly what's happened, AM versus UN, and this is going to allow TRD to potentially enter into this circle. They do have a boat, but where are they going to enter? Hopefully under the bridge and away from this D-Day beach.
Ooh, smoke's coming down.
Oh,
hold on, Hunter.
No.
He drops. Hold on a second, though. He's just wrapping around.
All part of the plan.
HMO's still watching all of this, but AM are going to be coming up around the side as well. And AM, as you mentioned, they had given up their position overlooking the bridge because it's kind of come out here. But the TRD members have managed to make it onto the beach, albeit a little further to the north from this D-Day side. A Tess is swimming directly for it. He could be in for a very rude awakening. Good spot for TRD, though. Look at where they found.
Yeah, and I mean, so far they've not been positioned outside of the top 5, and today outside of the second position. And they really need to maintain that sort of pride, and they may well be able to get it, knocking down a member of UN.
It's actually H-Mode that gets the credit for it, but Hickshu manages to get a finisher off and a maimed. Bonemer, he's going to get knocked as well. So all of a sudden, H-Mode finding an opportunity to get some downs. He finishes off Zeus, and they still have no idea where his position is. Hunter under heavy fire.
Yeah, I don't think they've got fantastic loot here. I mean, the Tommy gun on his back and then the AK. And now Butcher is looking to take a couple of shots over towards Hunter.
Tess is still swimming, man.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
6 teams left alive, but 3 with only 1 member.
AM's got a compound, and they're well within the confines of this next circle, so they might actually be in the best position of all. But if I know anything about TRD, they will come in and storm it. However, with only 2 members, that's going to be not the easiest thing to do, so AM got to be pretty happy about the position they managed to get themselves into. And you wanted to see more from them. I know you did, Tom. You talked about the performance needing to be improving just a little bit. So we are going to keep our eyes on AM, but they've got some sneaky snakes coming up on them.
But look at the snakes. They don't actually realize that H-Mode was on top of the Pride Rock. And now they're going to be in a really difficult position if they don't do something about him. They are going to be able to get into the next circle if they creep along, but there's not going to be any protection.
Uh-oh, he could be in trouble if TRD wrap around and find him. So down to 6 teams with only 12 players alive, very few fully healthy. AM, I think, the only team that have all 4 members up.
Yeah, I mean, this could be, I think, potentially the first win for AM. If
Test might make land here, but Hunter could be watching for him.
Yeah, he has definitely seen him here through third person, so he's going to be going for the peak here. A-Test isn't even up on land, so Hunter could actually headshot him here. Test has actually now spotted him, I think, and he's trying to swim down and stay out of the line of sight. TLD
a little longer.
Should be able to take down Hunter.
Yeah, because he doesn't know that they're here. Meanwhile, H-Mode sees everything.
Yeah, and Molotov is taking a couple of shots over towards TRD, and it's actually going to be doing a decent amount of damage as well.
Taking a few hits. There's still a vehicle in play there for the AM members, so they're definitely in the best position. But here you can see Pride Rock from the distance. Hunter actually not putting a sight up on a Test, who's trying to hang just outside of his own sights.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes onto land or anything, he's pretty screwed. He has to play this exact position. Otherwise, he may well get killed by Hunter. And Hunter's keeping an eye out, but it's actually going to be H-Mo who spotted out the snakes.
Hama taken so low, but trying to bunny hop away. And finally, the return shot. Corp says, not today.
That is so good. Now we're down to 5 teams, and TRD, once again, maintaining the top 5 position in every single game.
I take back all the bad things I said about LPI because they have turned into some crack shots in the last couple of games.
Dancing Pirates, mate.
Yeah, they really, I mean, that's all they need to do apparently is level up, man.
And so LP is still pushing in here. Somehow Hammer left alive there. Cord saving his teammates back with that Car 98 or M24. And then they still have another member as well to the left who will be pushing in. Hunter trying to reposition here, but there's only so much time left.
Yeah, so with RBK out now, only down to 5 teams, 11 players alive. Atess has managed to stay alive a little longer. Hunter's actually gone snake mode onto just on the edge of the beachhead here because he realizes he might be in a bad position. I don't know if he knows that Pride Rock is now unoccupied, though.
I mean, it'd be very hard to tell, but I mean, to be fair, if he saw the kill feed, he should be able to know because H-Mode actually killed a couple of his teammates. So they should have knowledge. And this circle is actually pretty good for TRD.
And for AM, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for AM, 100%. But for TRD, they just need to be able to take out UN and also JS here. And a test is going to be pushing. Yeah,
they don't need the chicken dinner. It's worth noting that they've placed at worst second in every matchup today, solidly in the first place position. In this 8th game, Atess might finally make land. He's just sniffing around.
He knows there's a player here. If he sneaks onto land, he might actually be able to do something here, but maybe he's not.
Hunter's got his sights here on TRD right now, but I don't know if he can really do anything about it.
And because he's so focused on that, he's not checking behind him. This could be the end of him if he's not careful.
If Atess sneaks up on the back of him, he's done.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it up. Yeah, he doesn't actually know Atess is there. He can hear the swimming. Oh, maybe not.
This is so close.
Come on, Atess, push up. Atess has to do something right now.
This is a game of chicken, man.
This is so dangerous.
Who's going to blink? Keeping his head just below the water. Popping up, take a breath. Meanwhile, TRD are going to watch from a distance, see how this plays out. Oh! Takes the shots into the water.
Oh, no. Hey, UN has just given away his position. Now, TRD going to be able to spot him, do a lot of damage. Now, Atess going to be able to push through the water.
Using the boat for cover, though. That's good. Let's see if he can stay on his feet right now. Oh! Gets blown. It looks like Atess comes up and he takes the kill. What a play from JS.
Got to give him mad props for that, just sneaking in, getting at least 4th position. And LP are coming under fire from AM as well. We didn't miss that, but one player was killed, I think. And now Atess is going to have to smoke up and get inside. He's going to try and loot up here as well.
Yeah, he's going to smoke down right in front of his own face here. So TRD, they might take the opportunity to start running. All the same, AM are looking in the best position. As I say that, though, Quiet gets dropped down by Corp and Hama, who are going for a 2-member breach here. Corp's not get the finishing blow. Unfortunately, Butcher had him lined up in his sights, and he gets the knockdown. That's going to only be one more healthy member of LP remaining. Hama puts the bandage on. This
is really impressive. So they managed to get a wipe on one of the players, and this is going to allow TRD to be able to take down Atess.
XU's got Atess on that side, so now they're going to have to start making tracks into it. Final 2 teams remaining. It's down to TRD and AM, and Kevin gets B52 knocked. Looking for more, using those open windows, trying to use this soft cover of the beachhead.
And then he's struck him in these grenades, and they've already got 8 kills minimum. Make that 9 as the grenade goes out.
You gotta be kidding me.
Second
TRD are so freaking good.
Second place minimum today. That is insane.
It's
9
2v2.
kills minimum. Oh my god, this is just how have they managed to do this? There's also a crate up to their left.
I don't know if I want to take that one because
Oh,
you
no.
can see that Butcher and Molotov have got their sights trained on it. But Kevin slowly healing up through the window.
Oh, no.
That's the down onto Hicksu, though. This could be it. Kevin takes energy drink. Can he make it there? Well, the nades are flying in. He's going to chuck the smoke and try to get the res up.
He doesn't go. He shouldn't go for the res here. He needs to just go in for the kills, but he is going for the rotation. The grenade goes out, does the damage.
Taking a lot. He's trying to stutter step, and it looks like this is going to be AM finally finding the win that's been eluding them all day. Kevin playing back up against the beach now, and he is the last member standing for TRD.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he should have been told not to even go for that revive and go for a different position. Chuck the smoke out, but don't actually go for it. Go in for an ult position so he can actually take them in as the rotation comes in. But AM now have the full advantage. They're inside the circle.
They're just going to keep throwing out grenades as much as they can, but unfortunately they don't see quite the right direction of where Kevin is. He's kind of wrapped around to this other side, so if he can remain unseen, he might be able to sneak in here. And the circle, actually, in a weird way, could favor him here because as this next one will wind down, AM are going to have to leave their compound.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's so far out that they should actually be able to spot him.
I don't think Molotov sees him yet.
No, I mean, he's so far out, but there are actually now shots coming in
Yep,
from Kevin.
now
That was a mistake. Now Kevin's going to get hit by the blue if he's not fast enough pushing in here. But
He's only got this low ground to really shield him from cover, but he throws another nade out, runs away from the other one, immediately following the toss, just trying to keep AM not seeing it.
So he is actually going to be able to loot up here, and this is fantastic news for him. Being able to make it up to this rock is great, but unfortunately, actually, no, you know what? They might have used all their nades, so he might be able to do something here. I'm not quite sure what he's looking at. Maybe looking at the local vegetation.
Sometimes you just got to stop and smell the flowers, man.
Exactly. Wake up and then
I don't know if this is the best timing
smells
for
the
it.
roses. But yeah, I mean, he's trying to loot up here. He's trying to keep an eye out. He thinks they're to his left, but they're not. They're nowhere near that. He is trying to grenade it now. AM are going to be a bit confused, like, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, trying to play some mind games here, but they are just watching and waiting.
It's just like, well, he's fighting someone by himself, maybe his internal demons, and Butcher should be able to get a spot on him now.
I don't think you get kill points for that, unfortunately.
No, so Kevin should be get spotted here by these guys, but
Scoped up, but he's right behind the rock.
Oh.
He did make it to that cover, but unfortunately for him,
has-
he might not actually have to move before AM do.
Yeah, and if he gets
Look at the circle.
Look at this. Look, this is fantastic, but he chucks it a bit too high, I think, and it's going to go up, but it does some damage, and unfortunately, it's a bit too early if he did that as the circle was
Molotov
closing
standing
in.
inside the blue. Officially, Butcher's the only one who's safe right now. Kevin, he's got the play to work with, but neither of these, none of these three players are actually going to be in a good one. He can hold for a little while.
He doesn't actually have to move. He can just wait for them to jump out.
Are TRD about to take another chicken dinner and clutch this map when it was a 2v4
and
before LP came in?
It's just insane on this front. You've got to see this happening. I mean, Molotov going to be chucking out a couple of smokes.
How tilting would this be for AM if they lose here?
Man, I don't know what I'd have. If I was them, I'd be increasingly just angry, but they're going to be chucking down a wall of smoke.
They're smoking everything. They're going to have to make a run
But
for
look,
it.
the Molotov is in the way. That was a little bit too early, but if Kevin can get another one out, it could really just block them from being able to push.
Does he have another? That's the question.
I don't know. He has to get the shots off as soon as they rotate. He has to go for them.
It's faded.
But he has to wait for Butcher to move.
There he is. Molotov coming out. Lights him up through the smoke if he can, but he gets headshot by Butcher, and that's the end of it. AM, take a chicken dinner.
Insane plays coming out there from TRD, and AM going to be able to make purchases. And that was a really clever play. There, Butcher was like, look, mate, run Molotov, and he'll peek. I'll take him down, and that's exactly what happened.
Use the numbers.
It was too easy on that front. Unfortunately, he should have left that first player, waited for Butcher to push, get a minimum of another kill, get that 10-kill mark, and it would have been fantastic.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, AM finally find themselves a victory here, but it is another 10 kills and a second-place finish for TRD. These guys are stacking up. That's going to be another 32 points. They're going to put themselves way out in front. And if you're watching this as Seven Reef team, you're like, whew, how many spots are there for the regional finals?
Yeah, and I mean, what's even more funny is TRD have just been playing this in the last two games like, YOLO, we don't care about winning. But they're still winning a lot of the games. I mean, first, second.
And they've never gotten below double digits of kills. But let's take a look at the rest of the highlights here for all of our teams. It started out with SWAT 69 really running and gunning over RBK, who did have one member not actually quite loading in or dropping down early on. So ZBRT comes in through here. You can see Groza doing the same thing. It was a bit of a wonky firefight inside this house here, but they did do all right until LND started to turn on the heat.
Yeah, and Faker really being able to come out through his team. And look at the two lovers here.
Sometimes you just got to, like, relax, chill just because they're on different teams.
No.
Oh, yep, okay.
Ripping pieces indeed.
Well, no Romeo for that, Juliet.
Yeah.
All right.
MBZ going to get taken care of by UN, but there was only 2 of the members, but later on we will see them wiped out. IK doing good work against 46, but the tables were then turned and 46 trying to recover from this, but unfortunately it was just not enough, and Carmack pushing up, cleaning house.
Should have actually moved up and away from the res attempt earlier on, and this is where TRD just found the remaining members of
got their revenge.
LND. Really did get their revenge for sure, and here was a fight on top of the building here as Julius manages to get Urus down, but LPI, we all know how that ends, and then IK just get caught in a hail of TRD bullets while Etes just looks on.
And I mean, Raren actually just stays at a distance and just waits. Eventually, knocks down 1 and then throws a nade. I mean, you look at this.
Yeah, this is actually pretty good play from Rowan.
Yeah, I mean, he actually changes the course of the whole game. If he hadn't done that and killed 2 of these members, look at that nade, so perfect.
That was beautiful, yeah. And then Hixu does manage to find him down at the end of the day, but they took some heavy losses before they could do that. And as you mentioned, they were kind of playing a little kneecapped. And here's where H-Mode stands on top of Pride Rock and unloads some hot lead onto UN.
You have to give props to him. He actually got his team a lot of points there, and that could secure them.
Yeah, they ended 5th place.
Yeah, I mean, got to give mad props to them. But I mean, overall, Etes, brilliant play from him, which we'll see in momentarily. And this play coming out from Cord, though.
Yeah, but it looked so good as soon as Corp turns around, and we saw it from the kill feed. Great headshot from the snake in the grass.
I was like, what's up, governor? Poof, headshot. And ISO here does go down to Butcher and Etes.
Oh, this play. I love this play. Etes just waits and baits. He waits until Hunter is distracted, and then he comes in and cleans up.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be one of my favorite moments. Him and H-Mode definitely had a few funny moments here.
The bane of UN this game for sure. And yeah, well, we can see Hunter distracted by the TRD members. He cleans up. Eventually, he goes down as well. But he still places pretty decently for his squad. That's a 4th place finish here. And there's Butcher getting the last couple of shots onto the LPI members. That's going to be Corp, who had that sick headshot. And then, of course, Hixu trying to light it up. They get B52 down, but we all know what happened at the end of the day. It was a 2v1 and just numbers a little bit hard for TRD to overcome, but they still do another 2nd place finish. That was an insane day for that team.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really expected a win coming out from TRD. I know it's a lot, but I really thought
high expectations.
I mean, they kind of deserve those high expectations, to be fair. But I mean, if he'd quite literally just gone for the player in the window, Butcher, which he knew he was there. He had a solid idea there was a player there. If he'd waited for him to jump out the window, he could have easily had that in the bag. But let's have a look at the kill leaders here.
5 for 0 on TRD, rocking that score as well. You can see Faker, the hero of LND, also getting another 4 for himself. Also, Basti coming up here for AM, pretty huge as well. But of course, they did take the chicken dinner, so it's not too surprising. A couple of the IK members making an appearance in the top 5 as well. And then Hixu on TRD also in there. But it's really no surprise looking at who ended up winning at the end of the day, who actually ended up getting those kills.
And I mean, Basti is actually one of the guys that we had a focus on last week. He had a quite consistent.
He had a bit of a quiet tournament up until today, apart from last week, though, right? Because we didn't see as much out of AM, and this time they finally delivered.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really even feel like he was actually playing in the games today. I'd have to double check on that one because it was quite an interesting one. But let's have a look at the comparison here. It's going to be Ica team versus the real deal.
Once again. So, taking a look at it, 7th in the standings, of course, for IK. But they did give them hell. Some of those kills they picked up definitely at the expense of TRD. Now, they didn't dish nearly as much damage. Of course, we all saw what happened getting mowed down, but Rowan was still a good hero for the squad. Can't wait to see when that head-to-head actually does come in.
Look at that damage difference. It's pretty much, it is over double damage TRD have got.
Here's Rowan. I mean, this one's kind of unfair because they're pairing him up against Hackshot, who he mowed down earlier on. But look at the distance covered, man. IK were just roving machines.
They were running for days. And then, I mean, if you just have a look at this one, Karan versus the Death Zone, still, I mean, these aren't exactly comparable. But then again, Death Zone actually has 3K above Karan. But the other IK member had far more than the TRD member.
Yeah,
so
a lot of movement around for sure. But yeah, Kawan didn't have nearly as much damage in that time. Big fat 0. So here's Kramek here coming up with 3 kills. But compare that to 0 on the opposite side with 5 kills for him. And he wasn't even the last man standing that time. We usually look at him as the hero, but this time it was somebody different. In fact, it was going to be, I think it was actually Kevin in that last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. And I mean, if you just even have a look at this damage here, Barrow doesn't really achieve too much. It's going to be the kills onto Hixu, but
he's making a run for it for sure.
What a bunch of games. I mean, first, second.
Well, not only that, dude, 13 kills, 12 kills, and now 10 kills. Their lowest kill count today was 10. They put in 48 kills, 2 chicken dinners, and 2 second-place finishes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, they did literally over double their amount of kills.
Yeah, I didn't want to look at the scoreboard, but you know, I think some people definitely will. You want to keep track of what's going on, and you know where you can find the scoreboard up to date, as well as all the roster information for not just MEA, but for every one of the regions here at the Club Open. You can head over to clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all that stuff.
I know there's just so much you could learn from these guys. Not even just TRD. I mean, even AM in there, some of their positionings, and also L&D. They had some really good games. So if you want to be able to go check them out, there is a place and a website to do that.
Yes, you can. You can, of course, catch all the games live and all the VODs over at youtube.com/PUBGMobile Esports. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding dong the notification bell to make sure you don't miss a single minute of the Club Open action.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy from TRD, dominating in such a spectacular fashion. Have to give them mad props. And also L&D, they played really well.
Yeah, AM finally getting a win as well. I mean, I think we got a lot of success stories out of today, but that is going to do it for us. Don't forget to join us back at the same time, 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time, right here on this channel for more of the MEA action, the PUBG Mobile Club Open. But for now, we are signing off. Thank you for watching.
All right, well,
I guess we're not signing off. You just got you baited. But hey, it looks like, okay, now we actually are. Again, thank you so much for watching on behalf of the broadcast crew and all of the production. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. So see you back then.
Yeah, well, there we go, guys.
PUBG Mobile for free.